Twitch stream. Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Out of the Abyss, Brains and Brawn Edition. This is a wonderful new TTRPG brought to you by Fighter Guy Studios. You can get this RPG on for the high price of $0 right now for the base version on DriveThruRPG. And with me today are my two lovely players. Which one of you wants to introduce themselves first?
Hi, my name is Apple, and I'll be playing Valkeen, a Githzerai lunar sorcerer turned into this system.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Loki. I like long walks on the beach. And I'm playing Psalm, the tiefling musketeer.
Musketeer. All right. And what race is Psalm?
Tiefling.
Tiefling. That's right. All right. So, this is a new system, and the one thing I realized when we ended on our session 0 the other day was we never really had a combat scenario. But that might come to this session. We'll test out how the combat works in this system. It's very dynamic. You don't necessarily, because of how fluid it is and how narrative it is, there's really no limit to what you can and cannot do. Unlike in D&D and other RPGs, you're not set on just targeting one person, and you're definitely not set on, your limit is your imagination. But at the same time, it does have some core rules, which was everyone only gets 2 actions, but actions that are simple or easy, such as like actions that can accompany those actions that are minor enough, like dropping a weapon or looking around, those can be done within reason, up to the tale teller in this game, as it's called, to allow. So depending on how much time you have and how much everything is going, you can ask questions and all that kind of stuff. Some actions are part of actions and all that. All right. With that out of the way, I think we can go ahead and head into this game, this new adventure, this new story. I will preface that this game is in a different setting. It's not in the Forgotten Realms. It is set in a very lovely narrative world that was brought to me by Apple, actually. It's a new world known as Frenic, a kind of a dystopian utopia, as I kind of come to understand it, where utopia has fallen on the overworld, and a horrible mist has befallen the land, mysteriously, that caused most things to be swallowed in this almost petrifying mist, freezing it in time, disintegrating it, things like that, leaving behind lost and strange arcane technologies from a land that was once perfect. The new world, the new areas that have cropped up and created kingdoms are ruled by leaders that are at a level that is near demigod level, and the gods are mysterious and varied, and their powers for both foreign and unexplained, but also kind of removed. Is that accurate, Apple? Like removed
Yes.
gods?
They don't really give many direct blessings.
Right. Yeah, right. They don't interact directly. They're more in the background. That being said, deep in the underground of Frenic, a dark, desolate place, with strange magic and biomes of luminescent fungus, both hazardous and edible, and useful for every day. You'll find that life in the underground is a brutal and unforgiving space, but compared to above, in the folly of the mists and horrible war machines left over, it is manageable to make travel, and quick travel, especially to those that want to stay under the radar. For our two heroes, as we will call them, both Valkeem and Psalm have found themselves more or less, captured by a sect of drow, or dark elven, dark elven cultists that worship the demon lord of spiders. His name, known as Drim Stilton, the Thread Dancer. Their vast network of society has spread throughout the Underdark and has almost become a bit of a overarching militant presence in the desolate lands, next to their rivals, the Deep Gnomes, and the Duergar and the Dwygar, as well as a mysterious race of insane Dwygar known as the Darrow, a degenerate version of the dark dwarves, that has recently become more of a presence due to their mysterious reappearance after a century or more servitude to the nefarious extraplanar dwellers of the Mind Flayer thrall. Regardless of this, our story begins in the outpost of Valkenvelv. You've both been here for at least 6 days. For Psalm, a little bit longer, maybe 2 more days longer. And things have been made very clear to you from this very beginning. The leader, the priest, the head, the high priestess of this outpost, known as Ilvara, runs this encampment as if it was a hard maximum security prison. Each one of you have found yourselves in her chambers at least once. Your chains mounted on hooks, and you have been questioned you have been questioned in a method that would be probably not the most comfortable, where if you weren't forthright with your answers, it was met with violence at times. But as soon as she gets what she wants and everything, you are released to the rest of what they call the slave pens, the slave pen, and you are given a little bit more freedom. Your restraints are almost like this very confining double shackle that is also ringed around your neck as a collar, and your 2 hands are bound as well, limiting your complete movement of your arms. It makes it very difficult to stretch or do anything, that would require great dexterity to accomplish. Sometimes these restraints are loosened and or taken off with extreme caution. The drow are all armed whenever this is a thing. The drow always are accompanied with almost like a patrol level of guards, and they all have their drow poison used to incapacitate harder foes, especially to control Ront, the orc, the full mountain orc that is in your company, who requires a lot more darts to take down whenever he gets out of control. But he's taken enough crossbow bolts in the back to know not to be a little bit more tamer in the couple days that he has been here. The new additions to the camp, the Darrow, this small mushroom person, and the who else? And this goblin, this small little goblin. You haven't gotten much chance to really interact with them. But now you find yourself, and you find yourself kind of gathered around a campfire. Let's see. Kind of gathered around a campfire in these slave pens. A fire has been lit by one of the folks, probably a dwarf, probably the dwarven lady, Miss Eldith. Realizing that not everyone can see in the dark, looking at the confusion, and probably because you've been in the chambers with them long enough, they would know that Valkeen, you can't see in the dark, and so that gives you some comfort. And yeah, you guys are just kind of standing around the campfire. I didn't get you guys some tokens. I should have done that. Give me 1 second. I do have a picture of Valkeen.
I sent you one of Psalm too.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll look and see
Yeah.
if I can find it.
It should be the first thing. So.
No, did you just send it? Cool.
Sorry, I sent it right before the session.
Ooh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Valkeen, Apple, you use the same token press that I do. Awesome.
I saw the outline and I was like, oh, I should do that too.
Yes. Awesome. Perfect. I didn't even think of that. That was the one. I knew I was forgetting something, and I'm like, darn it. How do you spell Valkeen again? Is it Valqine?
Correct.
Correct? Okay, that one's done. Oh, man. This is awesome. I love it. Loki, your image is not what I was expecting, but I love it.
Do you think they would have tried to take the gold off of me, like the persons?
No, they wouldn't go that far. They don't care to take that off.
Yeah. Cool.
This is Saul. That's that is an extravagant.
Tiefling?
Yeah, that is an extravagant art for the tiefling that I was not
I
expecting.
mean,
Love
an
it.
extravagant personality.
Can I make it tiny? Yeah, let's make it tiny. Perfect. And we will put tokens to save image as. Boom. Done so. Sweet. Awesome. And now I gotta take this to the to the board and press that out. Alright. Bazinga. There you go. And then, I think I can give you permission to this character. Yep, I will give you. There you go. And what you can do is, your number will be, the green. I usually use the green as the number, and then the red circle if you want to put in your PD, which is usually just the same as your number, but sometimes you can be damaged or hurt. That's how I do health and stuff in this game. And then let me upload.
So green number and then
Yeah.
Red your PD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Second dog, put you right here and give you permissions. There you go. Think I did it. Cool. Awesome. And then Valkeen, since you're a caster, you can use the blue circle for your amount of spells per day. Or, anything else you want to track. Usually I use the blue for other things, but it depends.
And I can cast number of spells a day equal to what
let
again?
me share with you the magic stuff I wrote out. Yeah, I'll share that with you. Oh, wow. Didn't think it would do that. I guess that works, but not what I thought. And if there's any questions what we need to work out or iron out, I can answer those. All right. So, let me just explain to everybody, to Twitch, how Brains and Brawn works. Brains and Brawn is a D10 system. Unlike other games that have full attributes, everyone just has a number. That number can correlate to either being them being very strong, or them being very brainy, or them being kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. You pick a number between 3 and 8, and depending on that number, when you go to roll a dice, if you're rolling a something that uses brains, you try to roll under the dice, or over the dice, over your number anyway. And if you're trying to roll something that's brawn, you try to roll under your number, if that makes sense. You roll a number of d10s based on 3 criteria. You get 1 for free all the time, and you never have 0. You can never roll 0 dice unless I decide that something is just impossible. Like if you wanted to jump to the moon, I might take away your first dice. But for instance, but there are 2 ways of getting a more. There are only a maximum of 3 dice, possibly 4 if you get a crit or roll your number on one of your dice that for a previous roll. So you can apply that to get 4 dice potentially. But usually it's up to 3. You get the second dice for if you have a boon that's relevant to the task you're doing, and you get a third dice if you are prepared, i.e. you have equipment and or you knew something was going to happen, or the situation is it's basically the same as having advantage as well. So that can give you preparation as your third dice. Depending on how many successes you get, if you get 0 successes, something done goofed, something bad's gonna happen, and it may just get worse. If you get a 1 success, that means that you succeed. However, there is something that may set you back, or something else happens. If you get 2 successes, it's a standard yes. You get whatever happens, but nothing else comes of it. Nothing, and no detriments, no pluses. If you get 3 successes or more, usually it's something awesome just happened, and you get extra stuff. And that's how that kind of works. All right. Going back into the narrative, kind of stalking around in the room. The prisoners at this point are, just kind of waiting around. It's kind of a silent moment where everybody, and this is kind of typical, where everybody is just kind of milling about in the morning, waking up, and and you guys are. You notice there is. Is this guy visible to you guys? I think he is.
Yes.
You notice that. Oh, that's probably not the guy that's doing it. It's probably this dude. No, come here. It is really hard to see on this map. There we go. You can see that a drow is making his stepping towards the gate, and as he steps in towards the gate and he starts to unlock it with a couple of backup, with a few of his backup men. They are carrying trays of food, but it's food in this setting, in this situation, is really just the worst stuff that they could give you. It's usually the most almost spoiled, stuff from their pantries. It's surprising that it's even, it's a wonder. It's like not enough to get you sick, but not enough to make you be satisfying. And it's the blandest of the blandest type of food too. As
Do
he
I
unlocks
recognize this grass? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
Do I recognize this one? Is he one of the ones that
Make
I'm
a
familiar with?
make a quick brains check for me. First roll.
Just one?
You took away your perception for swordplay, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, so in this case, you weren't. You're kind of you're not treated that well. You're still a prisoner after all. I would say, yeah, it's just a single roll.
Okay.
I would say the stakes on this aren't very high, so if you get just 1 success, it's not gonna cause you any backlash unless you fail it.
Okay. I rolled a 0, so I failed.
Okay, it's a 1. That's for brains. So yeah, that's gonna fail. I'm gonna say you're just not able to quite get a face before, like always when the drow come in, they cast suddenly, they just one of the main drow. He casts a spell, or he just kind of snaps his fingers, and you are surrounded in darkness, and it kind of blots out everything, so you have no idea. You hear the gate kind of, you hear the drow kind of fiddle with the gate. A couple of strange wording in Undercommon are spoken. It's like him cursing, like God damn it, where's the? There it is. He opens the gate and steps, and you can hear shuffling on the stones, and as he kind of yells in Undercommon, as he is to know. And actually, no, he would probably say this in common. He's one of the drow that can speak in common. The voice is probably not one that you're familiar with as much. Psalm. And he just goes, and he says in common for everyone that can speak common to hear. Most people speak common, but some of them don't. Excuse me, jeez. Something got stuck in my throat there. He says, all right, he says, eat, and he'll, you can hear almost like the wood of a plate being put on the stone, and then as he shoves it in, and you hear the gate immediately close afterwards, and then you'll hear him say, as the gate's closing, you'll go to work. You'll go to work after you eat. You have 10 minutes. And shuffling back.
Volcane moves towards the plate and
the darkness goes away. You guys are back in light.
Holds up to her head. Lovely, partially fermented, wealthy meat again.
Oh,
Still flabby.
the goblin takes one look and says,
Oh, I can cook it a bit on the fire. It will be a bit better, if you wish.
How long will that take? We only have 10 minutes.
Alright. I'm not accustomed to that. It only take a couple of minutes?
So you might just get it over with. Eat it.
I bet. Jim Jar speaks up and says, I bet you 1 gold that he can't cook it fast enough.
Sure, darling. I'll take that bet.
All right. I'll go ahead and roll. I need to put on my glasses. I'm gonna roll 2 dice for my goblin.
By the way,
As he's like,
You gonna go on roll 20
Valkyrie.
or in personal?
What were you saying?
Are we gonna roll it just in person? Because we have roll 20, we can always roll in roll 20.
Oh, that's true.
No, I brought my physical dice. It's up to you guys.
I fully allow you to roll physical dice.
I'll probably do roll 20 because my dice are in the other room.
Okay.
That's honor.
What are you rolling for?
Nothing, I'm just
Oh,
clarifying.
just asking. Okay. All right. So Griddle is a cook. He doesn't exactly have the prepper. I'm not going to give him advantage because he doesn't have a lot of time. But I am going to give him the boon of being a cook. That's cocked dice, but both of them were over, so it doesn't matter which one it landed on. Neither one of them were his number anyway. And what is his number? I forget his number. Okay. So that, yeah, no. So that one is not going to be over his number. So he did get one success. So he cooks it enough. He gives all of you enough. You can see that the mushroom person is a bit perturbed by this, not needing any sustenance in this way. They look a bit panicked as everyone's kind of cooking the mushroom, and they haven't really spoke at all. It's just been kind of off in the corner, just kind of cowering. Jim Jar will, as Griddle kind of works at the fire, he says,
Okay, it's almost done. Okay, serve. Don't eat too fast. It's hot.
and the charming little Darrow takes a bit of a portion and just goes, of course, yes, thank you. Make it what we will. Ront will immediately grab a big handful, which pisses off. And he says, I deserve more. I think he says, the dwarves' portion is mine. I'm bigger, and he takes a bit. He takes 2 portions, and she just goes. She grits her teeth and says, if you know what's good for you, you're gonna take whatever, an equal share. And he's like, what are you gonna do about it?
Valkeen looks to Ron and says, alright, could bring her share if you like, but know that whenever she gets a weapon, if she injures you with it, I'm not putting any medicine on it. Straight?
Give me, what would that be? I would say it's brains, definitely. Are you trying to be intimidating?
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
So that would just be 1.
I will give you prepared because you're backing up the intimidation factor of this hardcore dwarf. Sorry, I can't see the results.
You got 1, didn't you?
That's 1 over my number.
1 over the number. Got it. Cool. Awesome. You can roll. Are you persuasive though?
No, she's
No.
very cold.
Cold. That is a bane though. Okay.
Yeah. I do not have any persuasion.
Yeah. No persuasion.
Can I,
stuff. Okay.
can I help?
You don't need to.
I like-
The help was actually there with the dwarf.
Okay.
So that's fine. But yeah, Ron. I will say that's 1 success. So Ron, he says, he just kind of grumbles back as he kind of goes, he just kind of just throws the food. I'm gonna have the dwarf make a roll here. I'm gonna have Eldith make a roll here. Yeah, she doesn't have any bonuses to this, and she's not prepared for it. So 1. Yeah, she fails it. So the food, he throws the food at her. It falls to her feet, and she just kind of picks it up, dusts it off, and starts eating it. Sir Darendil kind of, he takes his bit and says, "Wow, that was charming." He says, "Well, that was very charming." As he kind of takes his bit.
I do my best.
Everyone's such a charmer these days, sooner or later we're going to have to. I would say sooner or later we're going to have to work together to figure out to figure this new life force out. Correct?
Or we could start eating each other. That's always an option.
Griddle looks at you with this kind of cunning look and says, "Is this an option?"
That was a joke, darling, but
Oh.
Now I'm a bit terrified.
Of course, and a joke, yes. A joke.
I'm just gonna like back up against the wall slowly.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
Uh-huh.
When you're in underground, everything's a meal. Waste not, want not, all that.
Kind of just shrugs, kind
Oh.
of passing around this meal to everyone. Shushard, the quote unquote wisest of most of you. I actually need to change his number, by the way, because I believe I made his number way too low. Like, it's not supposed to be that low. There we go. And because that would be funny. There we go. He will go, yes. Thank you so much for this wonderful meal. And like always, we shall eat in communion. And we should not fight. It is against. It will not serve us well. And he takes his. Jim Jar will sidle up to you, Psalm, and he will say, well, I suppose you, I suppose you won the bet. He kind of flicks you a coin. You can add a gold to your equipment.
Awesome. Don't I have that other gold coin too?
Yeah, so you have 2 gold.
Pleasure doing business with you, darling.
At this rate, I'm gonna be. You're gonna clean house. Eventually, the house always wins. All right, though.
Maybe I'll be able to buy our freedom.
I always wonder. I don't think these gentlemen on the other side of the cage are really interested in our coin. If you catch my drift.
No, but there are other options, as always.
Mm-hmm. Gretel does go up to the other drow elven man tucked away in the corner, and offers him some.
Yes, sir, you have not taken your portion.
Sereth will stare daggers at him, but confused, kind of just looks and then tilts his head and just kind of goes, holds out a hand and takes it, just eats it, doesn't say anything. Right. All right. Does anybody have? Do you guys want to? As you guys are just eating, do you want to have any conversations with anyone around camp?
I don't know, Apple?
No, Volcane kind of just. I think at one point she kind of looks up and she gets like a flash of blinding light from one of the wings studding out of Psalm's face, and she kind of mutters, "No need to speak loud when your face already yells."
Thank you, I tried. You know, they're welded on. Cost me more than I made in a month, but I think they look very nice.
I've never understood those that can waste so much money, but you do you, I suppose.
Well, darling, when you make money, you must spend it. Just kind of gives like a little, kind of showing off the horns, which have gold welded in different spots and a couple of chains coming off, as well as some facial piercings, if it's hard to see.
If you don't mind, Jim Jar will kind of look over to you, Valkyrie, and say, if you don't mind, actually, I'm sure you, he actually hasn't brought this up yet. Jim Jar kind of says, if you don't mind, I was wondering, I've never seen an elf quite like you. Where are you from, ma'am?
As far as I know, the Folly.
Ah, the surface world, huh?
Indeed.
How mysterious.
Yeah. Bit of harsh living out there. You should be accustomed to life down here at least. Spells, good omens for me, for us, I suppose. Maybe.
It would if I hadn't merely woken up there about 2 years ago. I have no actual practical experience in the sort of livings. My skills are mainly in the healing of, knitting of torn flesh and the setting of bones.
Yeah. You had to patch his hole up at least once. Knew that. When fights break out, they're wont to do. Shame though that couple of them prisoners had to get knocked over the edge to the spiders, right? Not much you can do for them.
And
As long
pray
as
if you
we
believe in it.
survive, sacrifice will happen. You just have to endure it. Just don't become one. And all will be well. The end.
There is a rapping of metal on metal as you all are interrupted, and a sword is kind of rattled against the bars, and a couple of drow. The drow man is back.
Same one.
Same one, as far as you can tell. They immediately flank the doors. They unlock the cage. This time, not casting the darkness, as that's not the point of this. And they say, and he says, "All right, time for your chores. Get everyone filter out. The strong will go to the cage. The strong will go to the cage." I got my voices wrong, sorry about that. The strong will go to the cage, and those that are more helpful in other regards will follow me to cleaning duty.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Sure, it's not the most disgusting thing I've cleaned.
Definitely probably seen worse, so can't be all bad.
Come out now, dwarf, orc, and Quaggoth kind of looks around. You three. He kind of looks at you, Psalm, for a moment, kind of debating whether or not, because some of the drow, some drow, don't mind you. You're a storyteller, but at the same time, you are kind of strong,
Fairly.
or at least strong enough to maybe do something.
Fairly, yeah.
And he's just kind of debating, like, he's kind of debating something in his mind, and finally he just kind of works it out. He says, yeah, tiefling. You're with the group as well. You have the honor of breaking rocks today.
Oh, how kind of you.
Hmm.
I just give him a smile.
Okay. Do you want to roll something for that, or just give him a smile?
Can I roll performance?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and give
Okay.
me a brains check. What are you using any boons that might help in this?
Performance, because I'm kind
Performance.
of like showing it up.
Okay.
I got a 3 and an 8, so 1 success.
3 and an 8. Yeah, got it. Okay. 1 success. I will say, what effect do you want, or are you trying to go for here?
I'm trying to get out of breaking rocks.
He
Because
just goes. Yeah, he just goes. All right. He says, "The mistress would be." He kind of says something in Undercommon. Those of you that can't speak Undercommon can't really gauge this unless Psalm translate or Psalm or someone else translates. And he kind of just says, "The mistress might have need of him instead of them instead." That's a good point, actually. He wouldn't. This guy. What would he be seeing of Psalm? Is Psalm more masculine, feminine, neither?
He'd probably see more feminine because they present very femininely.
Okay. He just goes. So he'll say, she might be more. The mistress would might want to. Might have other needs for them, for her.
Do I hear this?
I'm gonna say yes. He's right there. So.
Can I hold up a hand and be like, darling, do I look like a she? And I just kind of motion to myself.
He just kind of looks.
Does all of this look like a she to you?
He just kind of looks and says, and snidely he will say, he'll reevaluate, and just say, I don't care.
Rude.
And he will say, fine, you will be cleaning the shrine today.
Perfect.
Hopefully,
I just give him a little
Silky.
little smile.
Hopefully, Silky won't be won't be hungry for that today.
Ugh.
Psalm, you're somewhat aware, being in the temple before, that Silky is a smaller than average, but still very massive giant spider that is kind of the more house pet giant spider, and it likes to accommodate itself in the cushions of the temple or the little shrine area.
Perfect.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not the most nicest spider to anybody that's not a drap, but you feel like you might be able to work some kind of match. You've been trying. It's been a hit or miss.
I've been building a relationship.
Yeah, it's like, you've been trying, but it's like, it's like a angry dog that just won't stop barking at you. Eventually they might shut up, but for now it's not working out.
Is there any food left over?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say that the Drow don't give you guys like a big meal, like unless you save some of your own, which
Can I save a little bit of mine?
Sure. That won't harm you later at all.
Can I slip it into a
Yeah,
pocket
you can
or
write it
something?
into your. It's like cooked mushroom. It's like cooked old mushroom. You can add that to your inventory.
Awesome.
All right.
Alright.
It's worth noting that I've already messed up. Ront can't speak common. He speaks orc only. So anybody that doesn't speak orc, you didn't understand what he said, but you got the gist of what he said, which was being a jerk.
He was clearly being aggressive.
He was taking a bunch of food, and you're just like, no.
Volkine delivered her threat then directly to his mind.
Perfect. Yep. Telepathy. That's perfect.
Mind
That'll
threat.
work. That'll work. As long as they speak one language, that's perfectly fine. I forgot Valkine has a bunch of technically superpowers, which is great.
The Psalm is just a guy.
And Psalm is just the most dashing person. I had to balance the two of you out somehow, and so I'm like, I think Psalm is just really liked no matter how the circumstance, they're just liked, and I'm like, I'm gonna give them a lot
I
of
mean, it fits.
starting ammunition. Whereas Valkyne is just like,
farming.
I can kill all of you. Like, no, I'm kidding.
I mean, that's how they've survived, so it makes sense.
All right. So you guys are summarily let out. I'm not gonna go into Roll20 and move you guys about the area too much, but I'd like to know. You guys are basically led and split up into groups. Though the group of the strong, Ront, Eldith, and Darendil, they are led to the cage, and which is lowered down, and summarily it is their job. You can hear after a while the echoing, picking of rock as they build a stairwell into the other side of the cavern to potentially expand Falconbelf, or at least start it. So they're kind of digging and picking at rocks over there. You guys, the smaller gentleman, actually they do make Jim Jargo as well, even though he doesn't look strong. They know that deep gnomes are pretty good at that kind of stuff. And as you guys are split off, Jim Jargo just says, "Hey, 2 gold. Say that 2 gold. Saying that Ront and Elvis don't take themselves, don't kill themselves today."
Take that bet, love.
All right.
Just like calls across
Hold it
the
to ya.
the things put up.
Yep. We'll find out what happens with that. All right. And with that, you guys are let off. Valkyne, you are probably led to let me look and see.
And Blaine soaked to the temple.
I think... Okay, I've got it. Roll me a d10 for me, Valkyne. An 8. You are taken. Valkyne. Your job today is to clean out the guard towers, which is right across the way. It's worth noting that all of these like pathways that lead to each of these areas, they are difficult terrain for you guys. They're very difficult. Like the Drow don't have a difficult. They've been practiced on these balancing, but they sway and they pitch really badly. It's almost like walking a tightrope.
Nice.
And there's no like safety stuff on the sides, so nothing to grab onto. They're just, you have to like maintain balance on them. They're made of spider silk.
Lovely.
So they pitch and they roll, and it's really like not fun. And you have a feeling that was specifically designed so that it would be difficult for people to run across. Not that it's a long way, but yeah. So you are taken to there, and you are told to kind of clean up, to help clean in the guard post. There are 3 guards there, and once you're dropped off there, I think you and Seraph, it needs some goading to get up and to get going, but eventually they get him to go as well, and go do something, or the Drow gentleman, you guys know that Sereth. You know Sereth's name, Psalm, and I assume you've like kind of like given everybody the pitch of like what was rumored to have happened because you've heard the rumor. Like he straight up went crazy on a patrol and killed somebody. That's the rumor.
He's the drow, right?
Yeah, he's the drow that's in your company. That's the kind of the narrative for him is that he is just this. He's like this crazy murderer dude. He might just go crazy at any point and kill you all. Like that's the narrative,
Okay.
but you're not sure.
Right.
He seems pretty harmless. Like he seems very confused anyway.
He hasn't done anything to me specifically, so I'm chill with him. So.
Yeah, but he does take some goading to go do some stuff. You do see milling about. There are drow casually walking from one place to another. You can see that during certain moments, the drow do go on, regular. There are drow patrols that come in once in a while, but today is a very light day. It seems like the main garrison is just staying at its level. A lot of these quaggoth that are in this quaggoth den, they mill about. One of them will walk out and start doing, will help with chores as well. Yeah, that's pretty much the day. Psalm, you are taken to this area right over here, where this shrine is. What's interesting about this shrine is that this is also, off in one corner there is there's like a door, like a trap door, that leads deeper into the cavern, deeper down into this stalactite, which is, this whole area is like above in the ceiling, almost. And these stalactites, they're massive stalactites that come down. Built into the side of the chasm on a ledge. There is like this little bridge that leads over into this shrine stalactite, and below that is Ilivara's chamber, which you've been to. And there is a smaller room right below hers for whoever her main squeeze is this century. Usually. The shrine and Ilivara's room are finally appointed with very exotic looking furniture that is made with a wood that you have come to learn that is made of zirkwood furniture. Zirkwood is like this, apparently like a tree of the Underdark. That you're not really sure what it looks like. You've never seen an actual like zirkwood like in, well, wait, no, you're actually you've been underground a couple times. You know what a zirkwood is. A zirkwood is like a large tree-like mushroom.
Okay.
And they use it for wood and lumber. It's very hard and dense, much like oak.
Okay.
And most people use it for that kind of stuff. But in this main shrine area is this massive, lovely-looking shrine depicting a massive spider body sculpture with what looks to be a male or masculine body sitting where the head of a spider would be, and it is poised in an almost elegant motif, as it's like slaying and digging its large taloned pincer, like its taloned front legs into an elf depiction. The elf looks like it's almost like a high elf or something, potentially. And it is almost in a ballet style pose, as if it's like dancing while performing this gruesome attack.
My favorite game to play, Dance Dance Dismemberment.
Yep.
Dismemberment.
That's great. And you can see that in the eyes, the one thing that's always kind of caught your eye, Psalm, about this shrine is that in the eyes of this shrine, there are these ornate gemstones that glimmer and gleam, even in the soft glowing and scintillating torchlight. Which the torchlight here is a different kind of a bluish, cold flame that kind of is very small. That kind of just give dim light to the interior.
Tom is definitely intrigued with the gemstones. They're definitely into it.
It is a little bit of a climb to get to those eyes, but at some point you feel just one. At some point you've got to try for it. But
For sure.
it's up. Actually, it's up to you if you want to try for it at all. But that is what's in this room.
Is there a guard with me?
Oh, there always is. There's always some guard
Okay.
or some watcher. Actually, let me see. Actually, I'm going to roll for that.
Okay.
97. Yeah. There is, in fact, you are let in while there is like almost this sermon going on with Asha, the recent priestess, and the guards just kind of see that there's 4 other guard. There's actually, let me check that as well. There are 2 other guard, drow. They're unarmored currently and kind of in the middle of like, it's almost like the drow service is almost like a dance recital where they are performing these very flowing and very almost meditative this almost meditative dance that is very choreographed, almost like memorized, like a kata for martial arts. And and Asha, the priestess, is guiding them through it. And as she sees you enter, give me a brains check with 2 dice. Actually 3. Give me a 3 3 dice brains. So 5 or less is what we're looking for on those dice.
5 or less or 5 or more?
Oh, I'm sorry, 5 or more because it is brains. Sorry. I forget the rules of this game.
I got 1 success. 1 7.
1 7. The rest are lower than 5. Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will say that Asha, though she appreciates your company, there is just this hidden feeling. I think she was probably one of the people that advocated for taking away the jewelry that you adorn yourself in. But it was overlooked by Ilavara. She's a very Asha's kind of a religious person. She believes that all wealth should be taken from prisoners. They shouldn't be given their stuff. But Ilavara overruled it because of because she likes the aesthetic and it adds to your performance, and it just kind of helps with that regard. And yeah, she just didn't feel like that was. She felt like taking that much from you was not really needed, and she kind of wanted to keep you in good spirits in order to tell your stories. So she kind of overruled that. And so Asha has this kind of love-hate with you, and so she kind of eyes you and gives you this eye of like, if you make a single noise during morning kata, there will be problems.
For a wink, I just like a little wink, a little cheeky wink.
She kind of if you're not sure from this, well, actually it's pretty close. You can tell that she will probably like roll her eyes, and go back to focusing on the kata. It's so trained in her mind that she was doing this. All took like a matter of like a couple of seconds, but throughout she was in the middle of this this very beautiful dance. Asha doesn't really wear armor. She's the only one. She's the only priest that, unlike Ilavar, she doesn't wear like heavy armor. She wears kind of the armor of everyone, kind of the armor of the general drow, and you're not sure what to make of that, because maybe she just doesn't have the frame for it. You're not sure, but yeah, that's a thing.
You can call yourself a drow priestess if you can't do a full kata without wearing plate armor.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, during kata you can't, you don't wear armor, but even without that, the kata, yeah, she normally doesn't wear too much armor, if any, which is just unique. I just felt like pointing it out. And
Yep.
we'll cut back over. Why don't, let's see. So as you are going through these motions, Valkeen, or Valkeen, sorry. I always think it ends with an M. I don't know why. All right. So Valkeen, I would like both of you to kind of let me know like how you are accomplishing your set tasks. There are a couple of people that are like assisting you, like well, actually no, you guys are kind of on your own, because like there's not a lot of like most of the chores are handled by the Quaggoths, and but there is like Bupido and the and Griddle. Griddle's led off to the kitchen because they found out he could, because they smelled the cooking, and they're like, you cook, we know where to put you. And Bupido is kind of new. They don't know what to do with him, so he's just like let off on his own. And then they just leave Stool alone. They don't know what he's good for, so they just kind of leave him in the slave pens.
No.
He kind of goes unnoticed. He's so small and just unnoteworthy that they don't care. Like, what is he gonna do? He has no arms.
No. So sad.
Yeah.
Oh
Shushar actually is a decent worker. Like, he's a good cleaner, so they probably put him like they kind of put him with Griddle, like cleaning up the main thing, and then Sereth is just led wherever the heck they give him the worst jobs, probably, like the most disgusting jobs, because they just don't like him. And then Bupido is just led to wherever, and whatever he does, you don't really know. But yeah, what are you guys doing?
So, the guard towers I'm cleaning, are these like barrack towers or like watchtowers?
This is like a small, like, to say small is kind of an understatement. It is like a regular apartment, like a single apartment building, and it is kind of crudely established with like very basic Zirkwood furniture, like a couple of chairs and a couple of long tables. Definitely a small round table for you, and this is just something that you noticed a couple of times, is that they play a strange drow gambling game on one of the tables. You're not sure. It just involves rolling dice, and it does involve cards as well. It's weird.
Munchkin, I know it.
What was that?
Munchkin, I know it.
Yep, it's Munchkin for sure. Canon.
Valkeen, she's doing her work as the house medic. I'm sure she's done plenty of this sort of cleaning. Oh, she just goes about her tasks with quiet, uncomplaining efficiency, just getting the task done to the best of her ability as quick as she can.
Okay. Give me a brains check.
That will my number.
The what?
It's a success.
Success. Okay. You notice just one of the stranger things about the drow here. One of these warriors, you just kind of pick it up as you're doing your work. That one of these warriors is kind of like, once in a while he'll like glance your way. A lot of the drow kind of just eye you with, a lot of the drow are kind of like monitoring what you're doing. But this guy, this one drow, he's a little bit coy about it. Like, he's not trying to directly, like, he's trying to just like not. He's trying to like look away as well. But you notice just as he's doing it, because he's kind of pulled attention to himself. You notice as he's doing it, a feature about him that is very unique, and that is that on both of his hands he has 6 fingers.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's just what you notice with that. But you are making, you're very efficient at your job. And I'm gonna say that was kind of just a, yeah, you got it. I'm not gonna like put on any extra stuff. Maybe like a couple of guards come in and push you aside while you're doing it, kind of, kicking over your wash bucket a couple times, and then they laugh and walk out because they're assholes. But yeah.
She shows no reaction to it, just lights the thing again, refills it, and gets right back to work. Not giving the satisfaction of knowing that she's even remotely grieved.
You just walk and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why they just have like a weird, like, extra, like, bullying nature to you is because there is just this uncanny resemblance to some kind of elf. And that's probably why. It's just like you have the somewhat similar ears, but the skin tone is a little strange, but they just kind of assume, or maybe maybe they just assume a different lineage. They're not sure, but regardless, Drower, these cultists, they're kind of mean.
Valkine does not care.
Yeah, does not care. Gotcha. So yeah, that happens. Is there anything you want to do in that scene specifically?
I think after the second or third time that Brow looks over at me, Valkine is going to, next time one of her tasks brings her somewhat close, she's going to, a low tone, just be like, am I doing something to your dissatisfaction?
Ooh.
He give me a brains check for conversation. If you have any, do you have any boons that'll help with that?
No.
Yeah, and I think you have the cold.
She's cold,
thing,
I'm
so
the
unfortunately
conversationalist.
that'll give you a disadvantage, which will just prevent you from getting it'll prevent you from getting the prepared. So just go ahead and roll a dice.
Still over my brains.
Oh, nice.
Still over brain. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you roll over your brains, you're good. All right. He will. He gives you this eye of like he purses his lips. He looks a bit caught off guard. And you know that most of the drow of his stature, because they wear different uniforms, he's not like he's not an elite warrior. Most of the drow don't speak common. They speak undercommon and elven. Valkine, you have a 4, correct, in your brains for your number? I will say that I didn't establish this for languages. You are allowed to have 1 extra language for anything lower than 5. Normally, I would say that this can be usually I just say like whatever language your race does, but that's up to you if you want an extra language. Like you have a third language if you want it, but you don't have to metagame that at all. You can give yourself any language you want.
She definitely would not have Undercommon or Drow.
Yeah, maybe not, and not Elven either.
No, she'd probably have Sylvan because the kingdom of Dark Fae is next to the place
that would
she
make
called
sense.
home.
Yeah, you were in that area for 2 years. And you would have picked it up. That makes sense. Yeah, that's fine. So, with that, I would say that he kind of purses his lips. He doesn't really, and with your success, I will say you recognize that he heard you and understood. And he kind of says in Undercommon, which you don't understand. He'll say like Erus far ventris mana, and which is gibberish to you. I've actually been around people. If you've ever overheard people speaking another language, it's complete gibberish. I can't understand it.
Yeah.
I have had friends that spoke different. I had a friend that was speaking Thai. Good luck. They speak so fast. It's not gonna happen. And I tried to learn a little bit of Thai just to kind of follow what they were saying. Good luck. It just won't work. It's a foreign. It's completely foreign, alien.
Native
Impossible.
speaker versus learning speaker.
Yeah,
Not gonna happen.
Impossible. It's nearly impossible. They have to speak very slow for you to get it. And even then, I didn't even know a lot. I just knew how to say like I just knew how to say like I like water and stuff like that, and hello. That's all I knew.
Hello, fellow human. I like water.
Yes, that's basically it. Yep. Hello, young child. I like water and stuff like that. Which is not how you talk at all anyway. So it's like, yeah, no,
Nope.
I'm not gonna grab any of this. But yeah. So that's what he says. And he kind of and he says it in a way that's just like that. But he doesn't say it to you. He says it kind of over to his superior, and his superior translates what you said to him. He smiles and says, and he looks at you, and he kind of just coyly shrugs and gives you kind of a tilt of the head, and then just kind of and kind of like a half like a, it's almost like it's almost like a I don't care, like I don't know what you want from me, but it's also there's just this subtle hint of a coy smile at the edge of his face, and you can't help but be well, I'll leave it to you how Valkeen kind of reacts to that. But he's just kind of sitting in a chair and almost like doing that thing where he's kind of propping himself up on two legs of the chair as it kind of moves back, and he's just watching. But now that you've pointed out to it, he kind of just stops doing that. And he kind of looks a little like he does that 1,000-yard stare thing where he's like looking, straight ahead and, using his peripheral at this point. If he is using that at all to take glances, but you don't notice it anymore for the rest of the time.
Valkeen just raises an eyebrow at him and then just shrugs and goes back to work.
Okay. All right. With Psalm, what are you doing?
How many guards are in the room with me?
There are 2 guards not in armor. Their weapons are, nearby. They are dancing with blades. I will say that. And Asha, one of the priestesses, the newer priestess, she is guiding the meditation. So she has magic. I will let you know. She's
what?
She is magical. She has priestess abilities.
Yep.
Yeah. And she also has a weapon out as well. She has her own, she doesn't use a blade, which is unique. She has, a mace, which is strange.
Ooh. Fun. I like it.
Yeah. She doesn't look like she has the frame for it, but maybe the mace is, a little, lighter for her. You're not sure.
That's true. Use. Okay. I think Sam knows, when to shut up. So they're just cleaning. I guess not getting in their way, obviously, but just
Right.
cleaning. I guess what would they be cleaning? The outside part?
Okay. You can't really clean the outside. You can clean the walls and stuff. And
the walls. That's what I meant.
Yeah. All right. You can refill the water the areas and take the just kind of pick up kind of fluff the pillows and kind of shake out the dust from the lovely carpeting or lovely carpets and rugs that get walked on daily. Dust is just going to settle anywhere you go. I will need you to make a brawn check for that.
Okay. Oh yeah. Just 1 dice?
Are you using a boon that might help?
Are you good at cleaning?
Am I good at cleaning? I've got sleight of hand, but I don't know if that...
Cleaning.
That would be kind of a stretch, unless you were stealing a pillow, which would be really hard.
Just shoves it up my shirt.
Yeah.
I'll just roll 1.
Okay.
Shows it in your shirt and then goes up to the to that guard before. You see, if I looked like this, then I would be female.
That guard's not here anymore, but
okay. Sorry, let me roll.
it is a case in point that once those guards took you guys from the cell, they changed shifts. So
Okay.
different guards in the area with Valkyne and
I got am I going over a 1?
it's under for Brawn.
Okay. I got a 1.
You got a 1? Okay, that's a success. It's 1 success. So I will say, I need you to make a brains check next as well.
Okay.
This
Just
one's based on
also
perception. So.
Which I got rid of.
Right. I felt really bad when you did that. I was like, you could have gotten rid of anything. That's okay though.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. That is a. Are we sorry? Over or under?
This would be over for brains.
Okay. That is a 7.
A 7. That's over. That's over your 5, I believe. So yeah, that's a success as well. So as you work, for a fact, fluffing the pillows and doing that stuff, that can be a little bit dangerous if you get too close to the annoying little ankle biter spider, giant spider, who likes to hide amongst the pillows and stuff. And you do, in fact, let me see. Actually, got 1 success. He is a giant spider. Or she is a giant spider, and she has to roll lower than her number. And I forget what the number for spiders are. Cool. Okay, so as you are looking around, you're trying to be careful with you're trying to be careful not to do this. Once again, spiders are incredibly stealthy Um, and even though the giant ones, they don't feel they should. It feels like they shouldn't be as stealthy as they are, but they just happen to be just quite annoyingly like. It's just like even how it's like. I know the small ones are like annoying. Like you see one and then you look away and it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But how do the big ones do that too? And
Okay.
and at first you clock that you clock the little spider in this shrine. You clock them,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look, and then as you're working, eventually you look back and they're gone, and you're like, how
Oh,
did they
no.
do that? And once again, as you're kind of trying to be on watch, like shoot, where is it coming from? Once again, the giant spider just kind of jumps out and give me a fear roll. This will be a brains
what?
check, but you get bravery,
Sorry?
so you can roll 2 dice.
Oh, hell. Yeah. That's 2 successes.
2 successes? Wow. So
Wait. Yes.
brains
It's
is
over.
low. Brains is higher. Yep.
Yes, 2 successes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, as it kind of jumps out and kind of goes to goes to shock you, you just kind of you react. You kind of like pull back, but it doesn't shock you to making a sound. And the shriek of the the hiss of the spider actually makes more noise than you do. And that actually gets Asha to look over, and she will call out in Undercommon in Undercommon she'll call out a command of is Lizek Hasa, and it's like a command that they use, kind of a combination of Elven and Undercommon that just probably means like, hey, leave him alone. And the spider will and skitter back to where it was. It's like a dog that's been scolded.
Drop it. Drop it.
Yep, no. Bad.
Don't kill the tiefling.
Yeah,
Bad
and she's doing this while still doing the kata, so it's no less just like kind of just a slight interruption, an interesting thing. But eventually, throughout the rest of your day, you're worked straightening up the stuff. Basically, you're just kind of... It gets to a point where most of the day is spent cleaning the stuff that's already been cleaned. Eventually, Asha and the other 2 drow, they finish their kata and they start to meditate. They go over to one of the cleaner rugs that you just cleaned, and they will sit and they will kind of start to go into a meditative trance afterwards. They're still aware while they do this, but and you would know this. And then that's cue for you to go over to their kata mat and clean that. And with that, I would like both of you to roll me a d10.
Just one?
Yeah, just one each. Yeah.
I got 6.
So did I.
Oh!
6 and a 6, nice. All right, 6 and a 6. Okay, as today closes a bit, there is nothing much of note except that during the day, as you are all sent back into the pen, as they call it, the slave pen, you are given, you're given a lunch break at wherever you are. They have food rations for people who are working, and then the people that are cleaning around the area, they just they'll just say like go get food at the they will take you to get food at the mess or main hall. And they'll escort you in your chains. You get used to the constant rattling of the collar and wrist and fancy wrist bracelets. But yeah, and it comes to the end of the day. The fire is not started yet inside this thing, so it's very dark. It's very dark inside there, other than like right at the gate where there's these two bioluminescent, dimly lit globes of specially cultivated moss. And I would say Valkene, you're probably the first one there to kind of be there. Shortly after, I would say that you kind of have this moment with Psalm and Bupido, and let's see. Yeah, I would say that you guys, I'll pull out these guys. You guys are back in here. You have everyone. So it's you, Bupido, and the little mushroom guy, for now.
Little mushroom. Okay.
And the little mushroom guy has just been kind of. Actually, I'll say the mushroom guy hasn't moved. He's just been standing there, and he looks. It doesn't take. You don't have to roll anything. He's terrified the whole entire time. He's just kind of shocked.
Okay.
He almost kind of blends in with the. He almost looks like he has become a mushroom in place at this point. And
okay.
Yeah, Bupido has come back with you guys. You're not sure. Maybe it's because of his chipper attitude with everything, but he's always got a smile on his face, which probably just pisses the drow off. But regardless of that, maybe they're creeped out by him. They're not sure, but he's sent back with you guys early. Just told us to wait in the slave pens for everybody else.
Okay. Can I go over to the little mushroom guy and like try to talk to him?
Give me a brains check. Performance will give you. I will give you a boon for that, and
Yes.
I will give you. Well, I can't give you advantage yet, so I'm not going to give you preparation yet.
Okay. 2 successes.
2 successes,
6
amazing.
and 8.
You can tell immediately that it doesn't. As you start to talk to it, it kind of it snaps. First of all, it snaps out of whatever was affecting it. The fear kind of goes away, and it kind of tilts its capped head, and then it just kind of shudders for a moment, and a little puff of these spores just poofs out. And it kind of takes you aback, like it's kind of like whoa, hello, I didn't know that was gonna happen. But as you breathe in these spores, just because there's no avoiding it, and you kind of cough a little bit, but you realize as you do that, then it's at this point that he just goes, hi. My name's Stool. How can I? Nice to meet you. I'm sorry. Don't be alarmed by the spores. They help me. That's how we as the Myconids speak. We
No
can't. We don't got
worries,
mouths
darling.
to talk with. We have to speak telepathically.
Just as long as there's no side effects.
I don't know
Pleasure
any.
to meet
I don't know
you.
if there is any.
I'll be fine. It's not the worst thing I've inhaled. My name is Psalm.
So.
Are you
Okay.
all right?
No, I'm a captive.
Well, yes, we're all held captive here in a sense.
But no, I was just. I only wandered outside of Neverlight Grove for a moment. And next thing I knew, I have I was knocked unconscious and brought and put. I mean, they put this little chain thing on me, but I don't have arms. What? And you do notice that there is like this chain around the mushroom cap for no reason.
Honestly, it's a wonder that
It's just like
in
a
the
it's a
first
head
place.
it's a neck collar that's a little thicker, but for some reason they put it on him and that it doesn't restrict him at all. He has no arms. So
Is it like locked on there, or could I like
yeah, it's locked on there.
put it off?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically like he has to drag around this like 2-pound weight everywhere to restrict his movement.
Okay. Sam goes, Do you know why they captured you, darling?
No, I don't.
Or where they came from, perhaps?
Well, I was in my village, Neverlight Grove. I was just on the outskirts. I was told not to wander too far, but I did. I was curious. I just wanted to see what else there was outside the grove. I was curious, and well, I found out, I guess.
Everyone flies the nest at some point. You know, sometimes we just hit the ground in a big splatter and there's
I
gore
was gonna
everywhere.
go back home, but no, I'm
Yeah,
here.
why don't you come sit by the fire? I'll protect you. I
Fire?
promise.
No fire for me. I actually prefer cold environments. There's no fire in Neverlight Grove. I saw you guys roasting the mushrooms. I thought I was going to be next.
No, of course
I've seen the
not.
goblin looking at me.
You're sentient. It would be cruel and unusual to murder you. We're not at that point quite yet, are we?
I don't know. That goblin, he looks at me like you would look at a delicious he looks at me like a lot of the other fleshers would look at a delicious food morsel. I'm worried.
Well, you are a mushroom, but I'll keep you safe. I promise. And I kind of like extend like a hand. I know he doesn't have any hands, but just like a offering, like a welcoming gesture.
Yeah, he immediately, has a moment of he kind of sees you as a companion at this point, and he just goes, and he kind of, as if he had arms, he will run over and just kind of nestle against a leg,
Aww.
kind of like a little tiny like a little kid would.
Aww.
If he had arms,
sit
they would
down
be
next-
like around your leg, just for a moment. But he just kind of goes, "Thank you for calming me down. I was not sure. I was hoping that maybe if I stood really still, they wouldn't notice me, and I would be okay."
Well, honestly, it has been working for you so far, but sooner or later, you and I are going to be in the thick of it, and I promise you, I will protect you.
I appreciate that. The rest of you, Bupido and Valkeem, you just see kind of them having this silent conversation. Like they're just, like she's just looking at the little mushroom. There's a puff of spores, and then it's all a silent conversation. And then the thing just kind of, apparently, like, this little mushroom guy just nestles up against her. I'm sorry, him. Got that wrong. Them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit by him.
Bupido will kind of notice it, and he will speak. So, What are your names?
Valkeen.
Valkeen. Very nice. My name is Bupido. It's nice to meet you. Gives you a very, yellow-toothed smile, bright, despite the strikingly just strange appearance, like unhinged appearance. And he will extend a hand to you.
She looks at it, does not offer her own hand.
And
Nods in his general direction.
he'll just kind of pull the hand back and put it behind him and just go, well, it was nice to meet you, Miss Valkeen. Are you, well, how did you get captured?
You snuck up on me. Did what they do best.
Oh, was it the pin cushion? Or was it or did they poke you with a sword?
Little bit of both.
Yes. He does this unsettling thing, and there's just this aura of unsettling. He's friendly, for as much as he is. There is just this weird thing he does, almost like he's like running he kind of just has this strange, like, lizard-like thing with his tongue and between his teeth. Which just gives him a little bit of a weird, but, it's probably just a habit of his. And he just kind of looks over and says, "And you? What is your name?"
Psalm, but you can call me whatever you want.
Lovely.
Kind of gives like a little smile. Sorry, the word.
It's okay.
Maybe.
Very well. I don't have a better name for you, so Psalm works for me. As I said before, I am Bupido, and instead of seeing that, the handshake didn't work this time, he gives you a deep bow, very stage-like.
I give a bow back with like a little flourish of the hand.
Yes.
Like a little hand roll.
A practitioner of the theater as well, I see.
I dabble.
I'm more of a fan of the theater, really. Have you been on stage at all?
Oh, yes, there was this one town. There was a time where I was traveling with one of those town-to-town circus acts, and yes, I was on the stage with that.
Really? Really?
And perhaps there was a moment where I played damsel in distress, which I suppose that is what I am now, isn't it? Kind of gives like a little hands up, like, oh well.
Suppose that's everyone's role at this point. But don't worry. The fates of performers are wont to be a bit rocky, as they say.
Tragic people meet tragic ends.
Well, let's hope the end is not in this dreadful cave, shall we? I believe that the show must go on. Couldn't you agree?
Always. Always. Kind of gives him a knowing smile. Like a bare fangs,
Eventually, yeah. And, yeah, as the, the bear fangs, as that kind of happens, there's a little more, maybe the conversation dies out. Bupido's kind of just, has idle conversation. You learn a little bit more about Bupido. in that, he is a Darrow, and he was a somewhat of a freelance. He was like more of a freelance wanderer, a skald, if you will, telling his stories as he traveled from town to town in the Underdark. That's kind of what you glean from him as you have that conversation. And as that conversation goes on, eventually, Sereth is brought in and tossed into the cage. Eventually, Shushard joins you as well.
Oh, it is a good day's work.
Well, they kill each other. Referring to the bat.
Shushar is, that's Jim Jar. Shushar is the,
Oh, sorry.
fish guy. Yep, that's okay. Griddle comes back, filters in.
Yes! A day of cooking. This isn't such a bad place, except for the rattling of the chains. I'm still not used to this.
He kind of takes a look at the mushroom guy for a moment, and Stool will, cower behind your leg, Psalm.
I definitely put a hand on them, kind of push him back behind me.
Yeah.
Hey,
He just kind of shrugs and just goes,
oh, not for eating.
Not for eating, darling.
Yes. I figured as much. It didn't move for so long. I had thought it taken root. I was getting excited.
I just hold them behind me.
So, you were brought in with me, were you not? What's your name?
I am Bubido. It is a pleasure to meet you, and your name?
My name is Griddle. Griddle the chef. I was captured in the, I was camping, out in the caverns, and I was brought here.
Yes, I was similarly caught out in the Underdark making my rounds as well. They have their conversation. Shushar kind of comes up to the two of you, Psalm. Actually, he'll come over to Valkeem and say, "You are very silent, but an interesting part of the group. What is your story? Miss Valkeem, was it?"
The story is a mystery I have yet to discern, and silence serves me well.
Especially here. It would serve you very well to not go under the watchful eye of our captors. It is, as I always say, patience will lead to progress. If you do not fight and do not resist, like quicksand, you can escape its clutches.
I can agree with half of that. Must be willing to defend yourself in certain situations, lest you just end up dead meat.
I suppose this is where our teachings differ. I do not believe violence is always the answer. But in this rough country, I understand it's needed for certain people. He kind of contemplates this. Valkeem, can you give me a brains check just to see if you swayed him a little bit or, taught him something?
It's my number.
You rolled your number? Nice. That means you get an extra dice on your next roll. So keep that in mind. And you can see that he's contemplating your words. That he has considered that maybe his it's not exactly like convinced him completely, but it's broken through like his
Additional preconceptions.
yeah, his conservative nature is being kind of trumped by the fact that this is a dangerous world down here, and being completely passive is not exactly going to is may not be the best for survival at all times. At the same time, he doesn't look like he is convinced that he needs to take that upon himself. So it's interesting. He's definitely contemplating something. He's just kind of meditating on that as he looks into the fire. Seraph does what he does all the time. He walks past both of you. He walks past all of you. Let me think. He probably shoves past Valkeem on his way by. And goes and sits in the corner. Like a edgelord.
Bit of a... Yeah, an edgelord. Emo.
Kind of. You can see that they're... Give me a perception... brains check, both of you, for perception. Or insight, sorry.
Ooh, rolled out of my box.
2 successes.
No, you
Right.
used...
One.
You don't have to... Oh, wait, it is for your next roll, isn't it? I forgot.
Yeah, pretty sure it's the next thing you do.
Yeah, it is.
One success.
Alright, 2 successes and 1 success. That is 3 successes total. So, because you guys are technically doing it yourselves, I'm going to count that as narrative for everyone kind of gleans this. You can tell, Valkeem, you could tell that there is confusion, resentment, and he's just kind of projecting his feelings currently because his situation is dire, and he's looking for any excuse to kind of, he's just kind of taking out some aggression, and there's a deep shame to his face as he's been sitting in the corner. It's not necessarily that he's just trying to not engage with people, it's that he just he's kind of given up, is what you kind of glean. Additionally, because it's, yes, and you notice that, you notice specifically, Valkeem, sorry, I keep doing the M, don't know why. Valkeem, you notice that as he kind of passes you, you get a good look, and you see that he has these strange sores, like almost like little, yeah, he's like these little strange. They almost look like tiny eyes, kind of around his brow and temples. They look like kind of like spider eyes, or like red pustules or something like that. They just look weird, almost like I don't know if anybody knows what what a tryptophobe, like almost like a hive. It almost kind of looks like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, like it looks like there's like multiple like little spory holes in his skin, and they're just kind of red.
Ugh.
Yeah. Tryptophobias, look away.
Hi.
Sorry.
No, but you're good.
It's at this
She
point
clocks
that
that,
go ahead.
and she clocks that and makes note of it for later, in case she gets to take any chance to take a closer look at it.
Got it. Psalm, in your head, you hear Stool say, he has the... There's something about him. It's like kin. I didn't notice it until he walked by me. feels
Sorry, it's like
familiar. This is stool.
what? Oh, like him. Oh, yeah. I agree. There's something about him, isn't there? Like an angsty protagonist in a dark play.
He doesn't seem very nice, that's true. But that's not what I'm sensing. But, yeah, I agree. Eventually, the rest of the rock kickers return. And, to Psalm's, luck and fortune, Jimjar comes up to Psalm, and as both Eldith and Ront come into the room, and he just kind of slips by you, kind of just gives you a wink, and you feel your hand kind of two little like items get palmed into one of your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes, house is gonna win eventually.
Sure, darling. Whatever helps you sleep at night. I'll just
Yeah, it's fun.
put him in my pocket.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun either way. Man, it's better than doing nothing around here. Adds a little spice to
I
things.
A little danger.
Yeah,
Amongst
danger.
the danger.
Maybe. Not too much danger though. Yeah, just a little fun, really. A little game to play, as they say. The gods are doing it. Why not we do it?
Better than the fun game of feed yourself spiders.
In true. Darendil comes over to the fire, like a gentleman, and goes, well, another day of back-breaking work. How did the rest of you fare? He looks to you and Valkeen, looks to Psalm and Valkeen. New names, I'm sorry. New names.
Always. Work was like what I'm used to. Easy for me.
Oh, how lovely. He says, well, perhaps you would like to accompany us on rock breaking once, tomorrow.
No.
That's what I thought. Well,
I
regardless.
think we crushed them, darling. Look, they're so tiny.
What was that song? I couldn't quite make it out.
Sorry. Some just kind of looks at Valkeen and then goes, I think the rocks would crush them. They're so thin. So, no meat on those bones. Do you want my portion for tonight? Kind of like teasing.
No, I shall survive.
Whatever you say, darling.
Eventually, the guards just filter them in, and the night, another shift comes over. This time, your meal is delivered by let's see what it is. Okay. It is delivered by Jorlin.
Yeah.
You can you can tell by the gait of the man approaching in the shadowy kind of din gloom that he is approaching very kind of stumbling and limping, favoring the leg, as he is wont to do. He is accompanied by one guard, and he says to all of you, no, I gotta get his accent right. So, it's meals today. Tonight's dinner is served. Are y'all going to be nice, and so I don't have to put out the lights to go inside?
So I'm
Valkine
always
just
nice.
regards him, hands in her lap.
Darendil will speak up as well and say, the lights going out would be fantastic. No, we are not going to do anything. And kind of gestures to the chains. Very well. He unlocks the cage. And he hands I think Jorlin would hand them to Valkine. And it's like a plate. And he says, fight for it for all I care. Turns around. Turns around, re-locks the cage. And he just says, morning will come in 6 hours. And you will do work, and you will do more chores again.
Valkine hands out the food to each person.
As you do, Gretel kind of looks at it and just goes, could use a little roasting. And he kind of goes over to the fire and starts to kind of gently, toast it. The rest of them just take their meal. Ront kind of looks at you, takes his fill.
Valkine just meets his eyes and stares him in the eyes while handing him his one piece.
Got it. I was gonna say, okay. Yeah, give me another brains check.
That passes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with it. That happens, and it's enough to keep him from doing anything more than I was thinking to have him do. And he just kind of takes the stuff and just goes, eats it. He kind of you hear the spores in you hear telepathically against Psalm. Hey, do you think if you need to speak with anyone that can't talk, I might be able to you can have me use spores.
Like a hive mind where we're all interconnected.
Yeah, my spores connect everybody. We can all speak telepathically.
Yes. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. I just thought I'd offer,
Thank you, darling. Kind of watching everyone in the room. I'll keep that in mind.
Eldith definitely takes her food. Eldith, if I were to describe Eldith, she is what would be known as, I'm not sure if anybody's, I have a song for her picked out already, after listening to it on my playlist. But, yeah, she is pretty much like a really hardcore soldier, shaved side of the head, the rest of the hair on the other side, just a butch woman, uh, kind of inner dwarven stockiness, just muscular. And it's worth noting that most of you are not in your traditional garb. You're in like you're in kind of like peasants' robes, if anything. If you have female features, you're in robes. If you're masculine, you're likely just shirtless, unless you're like Shushar and you're like a fish person. It's just kind of like how it is. Just like very weird. Just give them the very basic, very bare minimum. Like they're not going to give the men a shirt because that's just a waste of time and resources to the drow.
What you need to cover up your naughties, otherwise, deal.
Yep, that's pretty much it. It's like, I mean, they're pants, but they're not. It's not like too revealing, but it's like definitely like we're not going to give the men a shirt. Like, no.
Okay.
Oh, they're short shorts, but not assless chaps.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh my goodness. You're asking me, everyone asks.
God Lord. Listen. Oh, man.
Everything is the same about this campaign, but
oh God.
but everyone is that.
Assless chaps. God no. That's great though. Love it. All right. So yeah. That's just a basic understanding of like the first day. As you kind of go to sleep for the night, you finish up your meals. Is there anything anybody wants to, any interactions you want to have? Everybody's just kind of chilling out, and everybody's kind of exhausted, especially the rock breakers for the day. I do have some stuff, that maybe some of the NPCs might come to you guys for, but unless you guys have something.
She's just doing her usual thing. Unless anyone approaches her, she's silently sitting against the wall, waiting for sleep to take her.
Psalm is probably telling sorry, what's the mushroom's name again?
Stool?
Stool. Psalm is probably telling Stool like a little like nighttime story. Like a little story about the world. One of their many adventures.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a check with 3 dice.
Yeah.
It's a brains check.
Brains are okay.
I mean, I don't know. Unless you're like bench pressing him while doing it, like.
That is two successes.
2 successes. Do any of them equal your number?
No.
So no 5s. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's 5.
All right. So yeah, you tell these stories, and Stool, he appreciates them. Like, what kind of stories are these? Like, are they of your adventures? Are they made up?
Yeah, there are some adventures, probably about like some harrowing escape from the people who have been trailing Psalm.
Mm-hmm.
Like escaping through the sewers of a city.
Oh wow. Wait, you have, and it kind of gives him a little hope, and he says, you've escaped before. Maybe just maybe we could escape too.
Maybe, darling. We sure can hope.
All right. Later that night, Valkeen, you are. It's not like you guys are like sleeping and they're waking you up. It's more like just before going to bed, where everybody's about to sleep's about to take you. You feel a. You hear the scraping of stone next to you, and like a slight, like a knee kind of kneel, and like you hear you feel the kneeling down, next to you, and Eldith kind of approaches you, kind of taps you on the shoulder.
She shifts subtly to show she's awake and turns an ear up in her general direction.
She will lean up against the wall and she'll say very quietly, you and me. Sorry. And I just wanted to go ahead and Solemn, give me a perception. Single roll.
Single roll.
Yeah.
That is a... Sorry.
You're good.
Brains?
Brains, yeah.
That is a 6.
A 6?
Yep.
Okay, 6 is going to fail, so this is out of your earshot. I'm just going to give a general to a bunch of these guys that are close by. Shushar. Got it. Okay. It's mostly the proximity, but so you don't hear, but she's not being exactly like completely silent. The whisper is still audible, and may carry a little bit in the chamber. But she whispers to you, Valkeen, we need to start. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be, stuck here for the rest of my life, breaking rocks, washing dishes, cleaning shit out of a bunch of dark elves' chamber pots. I was wondering, we need to leave. I think the sooner we try to make a break for it, the better.
If an opportunity presents itself, intend to take it.
I intend to take it, but it's gonna take all of us to do that. And some of us, she kind of, gives a slight pause, and you kind of feel like you know who she's talking about. We're not all part of a team yet. And there's definitely reasons and there's definitely reason to leave some of these people behind, I think. Right?
Wouldn't want to carry dead weight, true.
Yeah. In my other jobs that I've done around here, I was able to, sequester away a bit of spider silk webbing. Fashioned myself a little bit of a 5-foot piece of rope. It's not much, but might be able to strangle someone with it. I need you and I feel like you and the tiefling over there, Psalm. You guys are kind of the more personality types. Maybe the fish guy, but he seems like he's more lost in his own thoughts than anything. And he doesn't seem to be more. He doesn't have the. I don't think he has the heart for doing the hard stuff. And it feels like every day that goes by, I'm getting. I'm not at my full potential. If you can. Maybe you guys can talk to Darendil. Figure out this Darrow Boopido guy. Figure the goblin's fine. And the mushroom is a mushroom.
Seems to have taken a liking to Zone.
Yeah. Don't know much about them. I didn't know they grew legs. Well, we'll find out. Don't know how they're gonna climb out of here. So, hopefully they're not dead weight, just like the fish guy might be. At least Darendil has the strength.
Not all strengths are physical.
True.
I imagine that Shushar is his name?
Shushar, yeah. The fish guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's Shushar.
imagine that Shushar may have connections with someone out there. May serve useful to us in the future.
She gives you an eye, and kind of, I will say, Valkeen, give me this is going to be like a general knowledge check, so just give me a brains check. What is let me check your boons and see if there's anything that is relevant. No, not really. I might give you one more dice for sorcerer, just because it's a sorcerer thing, maybe.
That's one pass and a fail.
One pass, one fail? Okay.
One.
Your
one.
knowledge is spotty, but I will say that though you're not an expert, you do remember reading like books that those of Shushar's kind. Shushar is an exception to his race. The fact that he's even talking to you and not preaching the word of some foreign god that you've never heard is actually quite unique. Other than that, you know that that fish people are kind of are known to be kind of eccentric. Shushar is the antithesis of all that. And with that knowledge, go ahead and continue.
It's definitely not like most I've read about. They actually make a passable protagonist in a book. Tried reading a book centered around one of the normal example of his kind. It made no sense at all.
It's true. I was about to say something. We're not taking Ront.
As useful as his strength might be, too combative, too much of a problem.
I agree. Alright. Cool. As long as we're in agreement. And the drow, leaving him too.
Likely.
Yeah,
His pustules worry me.
fair enough. Maybe they can be fodder, meat for the grinder. Either way.
Perhaps.
Alright. Kind of slinks back. She kind of just actually, she doesn't slink anywhere. She just kind of moves, sinks to her side on the ground, opposite you. Just kind of falls silent. Alright. Valkeen, N. It'll haunt me to this day. I've already started saying with the M, and that's going to be the bane of me. Anyway,
Becoming
that is
muscle
my day.
memory.
Try to think of it as a little kid trying really hard to say falcon.
Yeah. What?
Oh my goodness!
Falcon.
Valkeen.
It's a Vulcan. It's a Vulcan.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, got me there. Alright, so in the morning, or what qualifies as morning in the Underdark, it's kind of hard to know because the Drow keep you on no set schedule. It is really just however long the Drow feel like watching you for the day, and they'll send you back to the place and for hours, to these slave pens for hours, and then you'll start the next day in the next couple of hours. So it's definitely throwing off your circadian rhythm, and you think that they do this on purpose, to keep you guys from getting quality rest. And I will say that during this, so what did you do with that food? What were you gonna do with that food?
Nothing. I planned on trying to, like, give it to the spider, but that wasn't necessary, so it's just kind of in my pocket.
Got it. It's in your pocket. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, unless you eat that, I'm gonna call for a brawn test.
Okay, I'll do a broad.
You're gonna do a brawn test? Okay.
Yeah. Just one dice.
It's just one dice for brawn. Do you have any? Let me look and see what stuff you have for. Yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see anything that can help you. So, yep, brawn test one dice.
It's under your brawn, right?
Under your brawn, yep.
I got a 2, so
5
I
or
won.
less. Nice, you succeed. Okay.
I won.
You're starting to get tired. You're definitely you can't keep that up. You can't keep skipping breakfast at this in this rate. But for now, it's only a mild hunger. So there you go. You don't
Awesome.
suffer any ill effects yet. I will say that the mushroom, it's 1 day older, so it does have a shelf life. But
Yeah.
there you go.
I'll eat it eventually.
Yeah.
I don't need to use it.
The quote-unquote morning comes.
These mushrooms don't have a stuff full of preservatives?
Unfortunately,
What do
not.
you mean?
You are lucky they're not. You are lucky that I reread one of the items in this. That I reread one of the mushroom types in this thing. Otherwise, I would have done a really funny, really funny meal at some point. But I reread it and I realized, oh, okay, you can't eat the furniture. Got it. Amazing.
Yep.
You can't eat the furniture.
I thought
here's
because I
Zirkwood's
misread it and I thought it said that Zirkwood you could eat the furniture, but it says that you can eat the spores of that of the tree, not the wood. And I was very disappointed that I couldn't throw a chair in there that was broken and be like, "There's your meal."
One
But
Zirkwood souffle.
as he throws it in, he just goes, "Board of advice: just scrape off the stain, or else you're gonna have a bad time." But no, that doesn't happen because it's not that. It doesn't work that way. You can't eat wood. As rich in fiber as it is.
So nutritious.
Oh yes, only the
Quite
most
filling.
nutrition. Anyway,
A heavy meal, though.
funny alternate universes aside, you guys are awakened once again by, nonetheless, it is not Jorlin, it is another of the Drow elite guard. This time it is likely going to be Shore, but let's go ahead and roll a dice and see. No, it is not. It is actually just another random elite guard. This one you don't know as well. and he kind of comes in. He gets to the gate and he says, and he just kind of rings the bell to wake you all up. Rings the bell as in he wraps the bars with his sword, with the back of his scimitar, and that wakes everyone up. And he says, "Morning." He says, "Waking meal." Oh, sorry. I always do this. They're Elven.
You're British.
Yeah, they're suddenly British. Everybody's British. I always do that for my basic guards when I don't know what to do. When I don't know what to do, the default is gate guard at some regular city in Britain.
Imperial Guard.
That is like everyone's go-to default. So that's just kind of what I do. But no, I will do better. It's actually, since I'm going to lean into the meme, and we are going to make them all Australian.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo!
And that's actually why I made Jim Jar Australian. He goes, some of them will be kind of British, some, just to differentiate the ones that have the names, and maybe grizzled, but yeah, no, the standard guys are going to be like, alright, gotta get into that voice. Alright, morning meal, or waking meal. Prisoners, do I need to black the lights again, or are we going to make this cordial?
Cordial as usual.
He doesn't know what to do with that. He just kind of eyes everyone. Everyone's just kind of like resigned. Give me.
Yeah, Psalm's just.
I need both of you to give me a brains check based on perception or insight and perception combined. So this is gonna be group. I'm gonna give one of you an extra dice. Whoever wants to roll that. This is like for your other NPCs around.
Who's rolling it? Apple?
You can take the extra dice.
Okay. Two successes, and Apple,
I think you got a success?
One success.
Nice. That's 3 successes. So, you know Valkeen and Psalm and Eldith kind of nudges you, just kind of grits her teeth, and she says shit, and you notice it as she does this, and she kind of glances over, and she's looking right at Ront, Psalm. Valkeen, you can't really see what's you can't really see, except for he's so tall. You can tell his muscles are tense, and he's going to do something. Psalm, you see that he is slowly pulling something out from behind him. What do you do as this man is unlocking the cage?
I don't have that spell. I thought I did. We don't have. We established during the pre-session that I can't access my magic in here, right?
So yes, you would know that inside this chamber you can't activate magic. You can pull magic into it, but you can't. But something inside there's like some runes in here that counterspell you immediately.
Can I tell my best friend to hit him with the spores?
Sure, yeah. He kind of just... in fact, it is like a big burst, so he just kind of saunters. He just kind of goes, oh, okay.
You got this, buddy.
He bursts, and it gets... you don't need Darendil, but it gets Bupido, it gets Griddle, and it gets Jimjar and Sarith, and it gets Ront, and you can now speak telepathically with Ront as those spores kind of go out, and it kind of catches Ront off guard a little bit, And the drow just kind of notices this and goes... Actually, let me roll for the drow, actually. Let me look at my notes and session stuff. Where are my elite guard? They do not have a perception boon. I may not have made them as... I think I made them so that they weren't... I may have to add that to them for the elite guy, at least.
Wow.
You have to roll over.
As the
Yeah, you have to roll over. So
war is
yeah, he
going
doesn't...
up.
I'm actually going to give him one more. Okay. He, because they're elven, I'm going to give that to him. He's going to look and see this burst, but not have enough time. But I'm going to say that he doesn't, even though he sees it, he's not really going to react. He's just going to go, whatever, because maybe he knows something you guys don't know about, or maybe he's seen, the mushroom people, and that's just how they talk. So he's just like, whatever, mushroom caused some spores to go out. I'm not really concerned about that. It's harmless.
As the spores are going up, Valkyne's going to attempt to use her minor telekinesis to whatever. Well, I can't actually see. Since I can't actually see what he's doing, I'm just try to like push his head back into the wall to stun him.
Ooh, okay. As the door is kind of being unlocked, and he just this elite guard kind of is kind of opening the gate, is slowly opening the gate, and he's just going, and he says in undercommon, freaking Myconid is doing its spores thing. Hopefully it's not spreading some sickness. Well, hopefully it's not spreading some sickness. That's when Jim Jar will say 10 gold. We'll whisper over to. Actually, he'll telekinetically say to you, Psalm, 5. I bet you 5 gold. I bet you 5 gold on the big one. The big one wins. Knowing, not sure what that means. Or maybe you do. Val, can you go ahead and give me a brains check? And if you want to augment this with your magic and dump a single use of a spell into your telekinesis, you can. And that'll give you an extra dice.
Okay, so would I have 2 dice already because it's my my telekinesis boon?
Yes, so you can get up. I'll let you spend a spell to make it 3, if you want.
I'll do that.
Okay.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, that's a standard success. Now he has to roll. Now this is a contested roll, and contested rolls work a little different in this game. So what he has to do is he is going to, though you are using brains to throw him back, he is using brawn to resist it.
Resist. Okay.
He does get 2 dice because he is both strong and tough. So he might be hard to shove, but he's not prepared because he does not know you could do this.
Surprise.
Okay, so he gets 2 successes as well, which, in this game, all ties go to whoever has, technically, all ties go to the player, or default to the player. In certain circumstances, it's whoever has the higher number, however. In this case, I will say because he was not expecting it, I'm going to give it to the player, to cause him to get pushed back. It's enough to send him off balance to where he suddenly just gets jolted back, and he's just like off balance now, and what that does is causes like enough of a jolt for him to lose the opportunity to do whatever he was about to do.
for just a brief moment, those sitting beside her would see her eyes go as pitch black as the night sky, and Ron would feel like the sudden push of gravity around him increasing.
He's kind of pushed into this wall, back into this wall a bit, off kilter, and kind of like is just kind of put off balance. By the time he like rights himself, this guy's already in and walking in with the two guards, just standing by. This guy says, divvy it amongst yourselves. He'll just put it right on the ground. I'm going to roll a dice for how mean this guy is. I have rolled that he is mean, and he spits in your food. And he, as he turns around, he says, Work is in. I'll give you 15 minutes. That's a godsend. And he steps out. He relocks the door behind him, closing. And they go back to their station across the pond.
Okay.
Ront looks very angry and says, "What was that?" And says, and telepathically, kind of not understanding the spores, you can hear Rage cursing. What was that? I almost had it. I had a dagger ready. I was about to take his throat.
Rod, darling, let's think about these things before we act. All right, let's consider the consequences if we fail. Perhaps
You take his throat, he takes yours, and likely all of ours.
Best die than be taken as a slave. Or actually, he can't talk to you. He has no idea what you just said. I apologize, unless you say that telepathically to him.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Oh,
Whenever
yeah,
I'm talking to him, I'm going straight to his brain.
Yep. He just goes.
Especially if I think I don't like it. If he doesn't
And
like it.
I'm gonna say, give me roll to calm emotions, psalm.
okay.
That is going to trigger Ront to leap over this fire, potentially. But let's see if you can calm him down first.
Okay.
So
Can I roll one dice or two, because let's click my boons.
That are you kind of relying on the are you trying to how are you using performance or deception to calm him down?
I think, okay, deception would be because Tom is trying to like actively deceive Ron into like calming down. Like they don't genuinely like believe that like whatever he's doing is like. Sorry, my brain just died.
No, you're good.
At a brain fog moment. I think like actively deceiving him into calming his emotions down, like using like placating mannerisms and like being deceptively like calming.
Right.
You're a beautiful baby boy, and everyone loves you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
like you couldn't like maybe you like that is a good question. Like, are you're using like maybe even a combination of the two to kind of get to kind of downplay it and kind of put on airs of calm, even though you don't care if he rips out this guy's throat and gets his ass killed.
Yeah, I don't really actually.
Yeah, sure, I can believe that. Yeah, I'll give you the 2 dice. That's fine.
Okay. 1 success.
1 success. So I will say it does calm him down, but like he doesn't get mad at you, and he doesn't he stops like thrashing about and yelling and making a big deal of it. But I will say he does still, like, as soon as he senses the telepathic bond with from Valkeen, and because Valkeen, you used telekinesis on him before, or telepathy on him before. He's a bit suspicious and he's a bit stupid, and so he's going to pull the knife on you, and I want you and Psalm to roll initiative because he is going to he's going to bellow out, and only you can hear this telepathy, Psalm. He says, you threw me back. You threw me off.
Of course I did.
And yeah, so how we roll initiative in this one is you roll a d10 and you add your number.
11.
Sorry, quick math. 13.
Ront got 11 as well. I think Ront's going to take you on the initiative because in this situation, Ront has an 8 for strength, or for his number.
Perfect.
And that's more narratively pleasing that he gets to go before you.
Yes. Also, I was gonna say, like, she puts on this cold front, but seeing him like with the knife right in front of her spooks easily. Bane kind of comes into play, and she kind of flinches back.
Okay, yeah. However, Prince Darendil is going to step around, and he's going to go right into action. Psalm, what did you get on initiative?
13.
A 13? Ooh. I think Darendil still beats you. He got really high on his D10 plus his 6. So I think that might be a little bit. So Darendil steps up. You're right behind him, Psalm. And but Darendil, there's like a blur of white fur as Darendil just comes up and tries to give a full Nelson to Ront. Which both of them roll 2 dice. So it's a battle of the kaiju at this point. Alright, so Darendil.
World's tiniest kaiju.
Yeah. Darendil gets 2 successes. Wow, that's hilarious. Ront has an 8 and still failed one.
Ooh.
Yeah, Darendil actually has a less chance to actually do this, but somehow, some way, both of them are pretty tough. So, no, Darendil comes up right behind him and takes Ront by surprise, and Darendil just goes,
Oh, hang on a bit. Hold up there. No sense in harming the lady. Be civil about this. Think.
and holds him off. Solomon, what do you want to do? The knife is in his hand, and he is fighting him off, but he's in a full Nelson.
Can I roll sleight of hand to try to get the knife?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. I like that idea.
Oh, yeah.
That was my plan. That was my thoughts exactly.
Can I? This might be a stretch, but can I be prepared because he's being held back?
Yes. Actually, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with that.
That is 1 success, but 1 right on my number.
Perfect.
So
that means you'll get another dice later, and didn't you roll your number before?
No.
Oh, maybe that was Valkeen then.
That was
That
me.
was
Um,
that was Valkeen.
that was Valkeen. Okay.
But so 2 successes, including the one on my number.
Yep, 2 successes. The one on your number gives you a dice later. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. You come right up. It's almost like it's almost synchronized. Although the blur goes in front of you, kind of catches you off guard. You take that moment and just kind of pirouette around him, and and you just kind of slip this dagger. This dagger. It's not even a dagger. It's really just a sharp piece of flint he may have picked up during rock breaking. And you just kind of full on like it catches him by he doesn't even know. Nobody even sees it disappear from his hands. But it's just you just sequester it away. It's gone, and you know there was once a dagger there, and now there is not. Yeah, that's just an automatic. That's just a perfect success. I would say at this point. Valkeen, what was your number?
My roll was an 11.
So you would go at the same time as Ron. I would say because Ron is now being restrained, you'll go first.
Alrighty. Valkeen's going to again use her telepathy, but at this point she's going to resort back to threats. And he's standing right over the fire. He's going to take one of the logs or whatever it is that's fueling this fire and levitate it ever so close to his fun parts.
That's so evil. Oh my, Lord
Wait.
Almighty. Okay, well you get 2 dice on
You
that.
Do you mind if I swear on your Twitch stream?
Oh yeah, I don't
Are
care.
you okay with that?
Oh yeah, if you've ever seen if you look at my VODs for Saturday games, there's the worst shit that's been talked about on that stream.
And 2 successes.
It's horrible. Listen, if I ever got an audience, I would be canceled immediately.
2 successes.
2 successes, nice. Yeah, I will say that. What is the intent here? Are you trying to harm him? Make him just have a comedy moment? Because Darrendel's right there too. He's right behind you.
I'm just trying to back him down, scare him off. Like, this is a threat. Like, if you continue, I will put this up there.
Okay. Darrendel gets a little nervous as well and says, "My lady, that's rather close to my bits as well. Perhaps." And Ron just kind of goes, "Get off, fine." And he just kind of he'll try to shove off. Darrendel will be able to push him in a different direction. He will try to escape this hell that he is in. Which he does get 2 successes on, and Darrendel gets no successes. And at this point, yeah, Darrendel, he's able to point him in a direction, but Ron is now pushed back to his corner, and he just kind of goes off and starts patting himself. He just kind of shrugs away and just goes and just goes over and punches this far wall.
Valkeen slowly lets the piece of fuel down, and it just settles back with her hands in her lap.
You can see
guards drawn from afar.
Yeah. Next up was going to be Eldith, and she was getting ready to do something, but at this point it's been resolved, and she just kind of goes over to the food. That the situation has been quelled. Now I will explain how kind of combat kind of works. That was a grapple. Technically, if Darrendel wanted to, he could cause, with that success, 1 PD physical damage to Ront. In this case, Darrendel was opting just to hold him back. So that's how that goes. Magic and stuff is a little different. From what I gleaned, you were just trying to ward him off. You weren't trying to hurt him. Otherwise, we would do something else. But yeah, that's exactly how that kind of stuff goes. Awesome. And how this would work as well, if there's like multiple enemies around you, this isn't D&D. You don't have to make all your attacks on one dude, or make your attack action on one dude. There's actually, I worked it out mathematically, and you can attack multiple enemies. It's just when you do that, their successes add up. So it would be less likely to harm multiple enemies, but if you have a lot of dice, you might be able to do it.
Okay.
That's different from magic. Of course, magic, like Fireball or something, that's its own thing. Regardless of that, Ron starts, tromps over. Everybody kind of gets out of his way, except for Sereth, who's just, mooting in the corner. Once again, you feel your hand. Once again, you feel like the pocket of your. You feel as you're finished with your little like performance song, you go back and you feel a familiar hand in your pocket, and you feel the weight get a little bigger as you feel 5 coins get put into your pocket. And Jim Jar just goes, "God dang it! You're really gonna bleed me dry. I'm gonna have to do my bets, but I'm gonna have to make better bets."
I guess you just have to, house always wins, doesn't it? Just kind of gives him a cheeky smile.
Yeah.
Do I still have the dagger?
Yeah, you have to die. Yeah, it's a flint piece of. It's a sharp piece of rock that will count as a dagger. But it may, if you fail, it may break.
Break. Okay. Can I just slip it into my pocket and keep it hidden?
Yeah, you can slip it. It's a hideable item. Yeah, you've basically confiscated Ron's starting item.
Okay.
And Jim Jar Jim Jar just says, "Oh well." He says, "Yeah, well. What's the plan now? I guess we best to get eating, right?" Girdle is already grabbing some of the stuff. Grabbing the stuff. He's kind of going,
Not wasted a bit of time having a little spat,
but as he kind of goes over, he starts to scoop out the stuff that's contaminated, and he'll say,
it's just saliva. You just get it close to the fire, and kind of gets rid of that.
You guys finish your meal. And the majority of you are filtered out for your daily chores. This time, the Drow force... The Drow are going to have the psalm. You are now placed on water duty. Water duty is doesn't sound as bad, and then you realize, the Drow like to make it. The Drow are, it doesn't sound bad, but it actually is kind of a risky one, because you are aware that deep in the pool below you, that is usually kind of, except around where the waterfall is, the edges of the waterfall are, have a kind of a thick layer of filth on them from gross manure from the multiple people that are living here, and other cave refuse from bats and whatnot, and algae. But the waterfall is a source of fresh water for this outpost. It wouldn't be normally it wouldn't be too much of a problem, except the Drow love to force slaves to climb up and fill the buckets. It doesn't go right next to this passage. It goes on a ledge. You have to be on a ledge to get it. And the Drow, they're pretty good at it. They're pretty good at climbing. They're used to this, but why them do it? We can have our help do it, and it's really fun to watch. It's fun to see if the slaves will can make it. It's a good test of the stock, as they say. So they are going to have you gather water today, which is no doubt a perilous task, because of the
Fun.
pool below you is rumored to have a horrible slime living in it.
Yay.
So,
All right.
Valkeen, we'll get this eventually. I'll have to say this like 10 times in my head later. You can you roll me a d10?
Always.
A 5, mediocre work. Yep, you are sent to clean out the one of the elite guard barracks, kind of tidy up a bit there.
Make sure you fold the corners real nice, like army corners.
Yeah, army class. Yep. Get that BMT, those hospital corners.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, clean.
I went through BMT. Hospital covers are no joke. I don't know if I could do them anymore, but I think I could. Either way, yeah. So you are looking at. They actually don't have beds here. They just have like meditative. Like that's the nice part. They don't only Ilvara has a bed. And Shore technically has a bed. Whoever lives in the chamber below Ilvara has a bed as well. Like a little, it's a quaint little like cabin bed, one person. Hers is a little bit bigger, like more like a queen bed for a queen. But the elite guard barracks, all the guard barracks pretty much they have like a little like, and the regular barracks, they all have like just a little like rug or mat that they sit in meditative trance in. So they're pretty easy to clean for the most part, but the worst part is the chamber pots, which is what you are tasked at doing. Which you have to move all the way from there, and you have to go all the way over to the pool side and dump it over the side in this other area to the north, so it doesn't get caught up in the spider webs and get it and mess up the spiders, because nobody wants to smell that shit. And you don't want to just dump it over the side right there, because that's just a crevasse, and eventually the filth will, the smell of the filth will carry up possibly, or attract other horrible things. They don't want that. So it is an arduous task to clean all this stuff, especially since you have a bit of magic. They kind of like one of the elite guards, and as you move that way down here, Valkeen, you actually I'll explain, like there's actually like some dummies that some of the drow are practicing on. You actually see the guards inside. You actually pass by the mess where there's like a little Quaggoth bartender, or a big Quaggoth bartender. I don't know why I said little. They're pretty tall, and a bunch of the drow are just kind of having their meals, or chilling out. And they're doing their thing. And while this is happening, I need, for your chores today, it is going to be a brawn check for both of you.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, great.
No.
Oh,
Zero.
wow.
It's like
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's farther. That's so far from the. That is so far from the thing. I will say, like, okay, we'll get to you, Valkeen, in a second. What about you, Loki?
I got a 0.
What about you, Psalm?
I got a 0.
A 0 as
Oh,
well? Fail? Oh no. Okay. Well, I will say you have.
Yes.
Did you roll 2 dice? Because this I can see like sleight of hand coming into this.
No, you roll under for your brawn, right?
You do roll under for your brawn.
Okay, I rolled under my number.
Oh, you
The
rolled under, so
zero,
you
the
got
zero
one.
on a D10 is a 10 usually,
Yep.
which is
Is
the
Um,
it?
highest.
Oh,
So,
so,
shit. I'm checking my dice. Yeah, you're right. It's a 10. God damn.
what happened?
So,
What
yeah, I
happened to
failed.
my, what happened to my music? Decided to
I
stop.
just
oh
kind
yeah,
of
I noticed
say
it.
sleight of hand.
Yeah.
But because it's like dexterous. Dexter dexterous.
Okay,
So
I
like
think I
sleight of
just need to
hand.
go to my account really quick and redo the play now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're dexterous. Well, it's because of your sleight of hand. Um,
Mhm.
and I think swordplay could also go into this a little bit, but not too much.
Okay.
But yeah, like I'll give you that. So you get one success. Did
Okay.
you get two successes?
I got one success.
One success. Okay. It's hard going as you carry out this task. Um, you slip a couple of times, and I will say that during this excursion, though you do succeed in not falling to your death or falling down this waterfall and filling up these things as you fill up. The challenge is that as you're filling up these buckets of water, I just realized we've been going a while. Gotta find a stopping point soon. Um, as you fill up the bucket, it gets heavier, and so that's causing an imbalance. And I will say, like after about the first time you do it, you kind of slip from the rocks a little bit, and you just kind of scrape your leg, that's gonna reduce. That's gonna give you a little bit of damage. I'm going to make it 1 PD
Okay.
of
Okay.
damage. So you'll have
Okay.
that damage, and until you are like tended to medically, that's just gonna carry through. The drow don't normally give you guys like medicinal supplies unless you absolutely need it. This is a superficial wound. They're probably just gonna tell you to suck it up, which really sucks.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that is all you incur from this dangerous task. Because after a while you
That's
start to get
great.
used to the weight of the. This was only like the first time you did it, and then the rest of the day, pretty much you fill a number of buckets up. Part of the duty is also like washing the gross buckets off as well.
Cool.
Like it's like you and Valkeen are kind of working in tandem a little bit as well. Um, but Valkeen, you at some point in your during your task, you you it's just maybe it's because it's just getting to you. Maybe you are too focused. Maybe something startled you, or maybe just maybe one of the drow was coming into the door while you were walking out of it. Um, I'll let you decide on what happened to cause this failure. Like, where did it happen, and how do you think this happened? I'm gonna let you describe that.
So she's cleaning out chamber pots and bedpans was part of her normal duty, so she kind of falls into a rhythm and just gets into it. But as she's delivering uh, one of these sets of dirty pots over to Psalm to clean, perhaps something moves in the river. Perhaps it's that slime. Perhaps it's just a rock from above. Something moves and falls to the river, and it startles her, and that's how she fails.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that. And where did this happen? Do you think?
Likely, like right over by the river.
Okay, so
Mm.
like somewhere on some like as you're like transitioning to the other side. Got it. Okay. So you're moving, and the rock and something startles you. Was it on like one of these bridges? Was it on?
Yeah, we'll say it's on one of the bridges.
Okay. In that case, it startles you. drop this pot, and there is a moment where you lose your balance and you fall over. You manage to catch yourself barely on the silk rope, or on the silken path. The pot hits a number of the pot hits a number of the webbing, and a bunch of spiders like rush to that area. As it kind of, I mean, it's a chamber pot. It kind of just falls and just kind of rips through. It's like a missile that just kind of busts through. The spiders kind of go back to work, like repairing that, but they're like interested in that area. So there's like 3 of these spiders just all converge on that area while you're like over here, and you're just hanging there for a moment.
Can I see this, or is it like?
Yeah, it's right there actually, where I've put it.
Okay.
She's right there. It's a very precarious situation because you are at this point are kind of at a. I wouldn't put yourself there. That's a.
Oh.
I would say
Sorry,
you're probably on the other side.
My computer kind of got itself in the foot.
No, you're good. Okay. So,
There, it's back.
yeah, I fixed it. Sorry, I was working on that while we were doing that. You are hanging precariously. I will have Psalm, you can roll initiative. I'm going to roll initiative for the drow. The drow, okay, so the drow warriors, they're on top of it. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. Oh well, that's okay. I will do that next time. Or I will do that as soon as we kind of pick up. Valkim, you are hanging there. What did you get on initiative?
9.
9, okay. I don't know what that is. Don't call me. What did Psalm get?
I got an 8.
Okay, so 9, 8. Alright. These 2 drow immediately see this. Whoopsies. I put this spider on top of the drow. They rush out. They're cursing. One of them is there. And I want to say, I'm going to go ahead and roll my fake dice. No, okay. There is one of the drow starts stepping carefully. Now he has to step very carefully because you are twisting the path. They're used to a normal, non-twisted path, so they have to move a little bit carefully not to knock you off. So they are kind of moving as best they can. I'm going to say they have a boon for traveling across these, because that's what it says in the adventure. Or rather, they have a prepared die. And wouldn't you know it, they are not going to help you at all. They are going to. He starts to step on it, but as soon as he steps on it, you immediately feel the movement, and one of your arms almost like, and you lose grip on one of your arms, and you just barely are able to put it back up, and that causes him to just go. In Undercommon, he is saying, "Le fa, le fa," and that is like a command to someone. You can tell Psalm that he calls out, he says, he says, "The commands, the spiders." The elite guard is kind of like, taking his sweet ass time. He's not really concerned. He's just like getting up. And Valkeen, it is your turn. What do you want to try to do? There are spiders
Oh.
below you. You are hanging. You can hear the waterfall below, right behind you.
Volkeen is going to try to use her minor telekinesis to lift her boots, like try to push her boots up enough so that she can maybe try to get enough force to get up on the bridge again.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Go ahead and make another brawn check. I would give you prepared for the idea, but I'm also going to take it away because the drow messed up.
For me, that'll be a fail.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You lose one of your as you try to do this, the grip in that one hand once again, actually your opposite hand this time, loses strength. It starts to lose strength, and you lose that hand, and you are clinging basically by threads. Psalm.
Alright.
Ready to
I'm
roll another
excited.
character? No, I'm kidding.
Do I have a bucket with
If
me?
it happens, it happens. I don't mind.
Yeah, right? I don't want to kill
Whatever.
you.
Do I have like a bucket with me, like one of the pots?
Yeah, I would say yes. You probably have a bucket.
Can I chuck it at one of the spiders?
It's not really a weapon, but yeah, go ahead at where you're at. Yeah, go ahead and do that, but you only get one die.
Okay. I'm rolling for under, right?
It, this is over. No, yeah, it's under. Brawn, yeah.
Okay. I failed. I got a
Oh.
7.
Okay. I will say that the consequence of failure is, how bad do I want to make it?
Oh no, please.
Right. I will just say
Literally
that.
have no. If
yeah.
the dice claim that my character dies, I have no qualms with that.
But that's not really a good storytelling. Anyway. All right.
Just saying.
Try not to kill both of us at one
All right.
time.
Yeah, it's just like restart. No,
Oh,
you
God.
have plenty of ways to do this. All right. I have something planned. The bucket goes. You throw the you kind of toss the bucket. It causes you to kind of lose balance. You fall onto the onto the ledge below, and you take 1 PD for your trouble. As you kind of slip and fall from the exertion, you throw the bucket. It goes out. It does not really do anything. Maybe it comes close to one of the spiders. It wards them away, and they kind of fix the web as it kind of pitches through and kind of splashes down. Some of the drow that are watching you kind of come up to you and they scold you as this happens. They're just like, "What are you doing?" In Undercommon, they're just like, you wasted that bucket. You're gonna go get that later. They seem like they're also kind of distracted. They're like, damn it, you don't want to lose that one. Yeah, it's at this time that. It's at this time that a series of actually no, I don't want to do that yet. You see sorry, Psalm, give me a brains check really quick. You're kind of befuddled, but give me just a basic brains check. It's just based on perception.
Okay.
Or it's based on, sight. So.
That is a success. That's a 7.
Nice. You feel, you hear an armored clang walking down this area. And kind of pass by you. Let me go ahead and introduce you to...
I think I know who this is.
Let me see, which one of these is that? Yep, here it is. Let's go! Token layer. And I gotta go back to the token layer.
I'm kind of zooming.
So...
Me in! Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
Alright, there we go. She is technically, there's not enough space to like put you there, but she kind of stands over you. She kind of passes by you, clinging by. You know, you're kind of on the ground. You kind of shake yourself, and you look up, and you see the mistress, the head priestess Ilivara, pass by you. She has these. She has in her hand the long rod that you're all aware of. The drow don't know what to do. But the main drow is going to start calling the spiders to, you know, withdraw away from that area. And he's going to try to, like, organize one of them to kind of go up and get and kind of, like, you know, secure you. But it's taking a little bit of time because the spiders are all frazzled because of all the random stuff hitting their webs and triggering them to, you know, go investigate. So they're kind of scrambled. Valkeen, give me one more brawn test at the start of your turn.
Okay.
And then that's not going to be your action, but that's going to be, you know, telling.
My number.
It's your number? Oh, nice. So you maintain your grasp, you maintain your hold, and you get an extra dice for your action.
And let me look at what spells do I have. Do I want to do any of these? No. And no, and no, and no. I'm just going to try and go with another telekinesis burst beneath me.
Okay, trying to, like, lift your foot or lift yourself up.
Like, just propel myself up just enough.
Okay. Go for it. We'll say that, well, I'm going to say that hanging by a single hand and not having your moonstone lump is not going to allow you to be prepared. But you are absolutely capable of casting a spell. And if you want to spend or rather, this spends your spell slot. Or, no, you have the option of spending a spell slot to increase the dice.
Yeah, I'll do that, just because I know my dice.
Sure.
Oh, good, look at that. The second dice succeeded.
Oh, nice. Excellent, excellent. I mean, you technically would roll 3 dice, right? Because you have the... Or no. Yeah, because the telepathy is technically a boon.
Yeah.
And you would have had an extra dice, actually, because of the number.
Oh, 4 dice.
Yep, 1 more dice. There's 2 successes. Two successes, so yeah. So you manage to propel yourself up. It, you know, it's like a burst of power as you fling yourself over. Is it haphazard? Is it, like, graceful? What does it look like?
Absolutely haphazard. She is frazzled.
Yeah.
Basically just like, she was trying, if she'd had the wherewithal to be graceful, she might have lowered the gravity on herself to try and make herself float. No, this is a push to the soles of her boots. Just get me up there right now.
Yep. And you roll over onto the deck, and Elvara, she kind of comes to the edge. For a moment, you saw that she was about to do something, and then she sees this happen. I'm going to make a brains check for her. Because she's just witnessing it, I'm going to give her prepared. but she doesn't have any like special things from this. Okay. So brains you have to get above, yeah. So she passes that. She's pretty smart. So she sees this and she just goes interest, and she kind of just contemplates. She just goes, and she just kind of sighs and just goes, you two. And she looks down at you, who just, tossed a bucket down, and the drow are the drow are kneeling and saying, one of the drow says, Mistress, they dropped 2 of the chamber pots and a chamber pot and a bucket to the pool below. And she just kind of says, Illivar will not be Australian, unfortunately, but
oh no,
she will be super evil voice. Oh, well, lovely. Well, you know what must be done. You know what must be done. I'm afraid. And she'll kneel down. She'll turn to you, Psalm, on the ground. And she'll kneel down to you and grab your cheeks and face and chin. And she'll say, very uncomfortably close, as if she was about to give you a kiss. She'll say, well, I'm afraid this pretty face will have to recover those lost items in the pool below today, for the rest of the day. Perhaps you can also take care of a certain, and she says, hopefully you won't suffer at the hands of any horrible creatures that lurk below the water, and you can fish it out. She'll delicately push your face away, Psalm. And as she does, the rod with the 3 black tentacles just kind of sways by her. As she kind of continues and returns back into the temple area where she calls her home. And she kind of gives a quick little elven order to the drow to seize both you and Valkeen and pull you to the next scene, which is you guys are pulled and thrown into the cage that drags you guys down below. It takes... I actually don't remember how long it takes. It takes like 10 minutes, I think, to crank you all the way to the bottom. Or somewhere around that, as this crane lifts, raises out and extends out, and then lowers you slowly as these 2 Quaggoths have to, crank it all the way to the bottom. You are led with of course, an escort duty guy, who is just who was off duty and now is real pissed that you are, that you had to ruin his day with this. And I think we'll end this as you guys pass by. You see Jim Jar slipping. You see Jim Jar and you see as a jovial part of this, and you see Jim Jar kind of slipping a bit of, or you see, Eldith kind of slipping Jim Jar a bit of gold. As they kind of just are, as they were kind of just, they were kind of taking that in for a moment. And they just kind of, as they watch you, they just kind of go, eh. She just kind of goes, eh. And that's about all. and you guys are led off to the pool for the next scene. I didn't think I was. Now, this is because I'm just taking my time with this, but I did not get as far as I prepared, so this is good news.
More content for next session.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More content for next session.
Oh yeah. I have not gotten to where I thought I was gonna get to, but you know what? The scenes. Honestly, this is partially because I did not know what to expect for your characters. I thought Valkeen might have. I thought Valkeen was gonna be kind of nice. I was wrong. I don't know where I got that preconceived notion. I mean, you're nice. You're just not as nice as I thought you. I thought you were going to be like really gentle, like a classic healer. And no, you're like hardcore.
No.
I love it.
I would say Psalm's the gentle one, but that's also not
Right.
true.
I mean, that one didn't surprise me as much, but you definitely surprised me with a little bit of the nature. I was shocked how gentle they at least carry themselves.
Psalm?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely, they don't look like they're as, you know.
Well, it's not the looks. It's just the swashbuckler. I thought they would be like super boisterous. But you're very caring, and it just and it's not that it threw me off. It was just not what I was expecting exactly. I was like, oh, interesting. I mean, that works really good for this narrative still. So it didn't really change what I had planned for you. It just did. I'll be honest. I was a little shocked at the artwork first, and then once I got it, I'm like, I was not saying the artwork was bad. I'm just saying like that was not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a jaunty hat and like a Jarlaxle kind of character. and yeah, that just kind of threw me a little bit, but it's fine. I love it.
No, I leaned into more of their performing arts background.
Yeah. It's perfect.
The
Honestly,
criminal.
it's great.
And I've been playing a lot of the calm, happy type recently, so I was like, nah, I'm going the
Embrace
the
chaos.
tough old nurse, young nurse.
Yeah. The bedside
Embrace
nurse.
the
Yep. Oh my god. Well, that was at the end of my sessions. I don't usually do this for my Saturday guys because I'll do this once in a while for my Saturday guys. But I just wanted to know, general, how do you think that went? Was that fun? Was it?
Yeah, lots of fun.
Was there anything
lots of
that
fun.
kind of confused you? I think next time we'll get a little bit of a combat session in and kind of figure out that maybe. We'll see. I'm definitely planning for some kind of combat thing at some point. I did want to introduce you to a little bit of combat, but heck, the die rolls decided that Darendil was just going to say no to that, and I was like, okay, fair enough. It's what he would do. So
The dice go.
yeah. I apologize.
go.
I apologize, Psalm, for forcing damage upon you, but in this game, there's not really much.
Okay.
Since you don't have any items, there's not really much stakes of taking away your minimal items. So there's not really much there. So the only thing I can really do is hurt you, which I mean, you were doing a dangerous task. It just made sense to me.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. And also, most of these your other people, although their numbers are varied, and Rot has a number of 8. All of them over throughout they're being held here. They all have a PD of basically 3, so they're all beat up. So don't feel left out. Don't feel too left out.
It's okay. I'm currently at 3.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
See how that goes.
I mean, I would share a little pain with Valkeen, but they only have 4 PD anyway, so there's not really much I can really do to them.
They're squishy. You're gonna kill them.
Yeah.
At least I'm slightly less squishy.
And as I read more of these, and as I read more of the little expansions for this game, it's actually funny because in one of the expansions, he actually changes the way you do health. In that he changed it in a way that I don't really want to do because it doesn't. To me, it just doesn't make sense. It's basically you get basically like player characters get a full 10 wounds no matter what. It's just you get the lower your number, the faster you get injured, which I don't think is really that fun. I think it's more fun to play it the way the original is doing it. But I am going to because this is sorry, go ahead. What?
I just said I prefer the original.
Yeah. But I will be taking a little bit from one of the things, and I will introduce that. I think I'll just introduce that now a little bit. Is that since this adventure focuses with the possibility and prospects of madness and fear, I am going to go ahead and use the mental damage wheel as well, which is basically the same thing as the physical damage. It's just at a certain point you become at a certain point you circle around, you'll become more and more flawed, and you'll go through madness levels and stuff. Because I think that's a really cool mechanic for fear.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll come into play. That was the thing with that fear roll from the spider psalm. That could have started the mental damage, but you resisted it. So I was like, well, cool. You're like super. I have a feeling that Psalm's gonna be really good at this adventure because they get to roll 2 dice for mental stuff. So that's great.
I just shrugged it off.
Yeah, you shrugged it off. It wasn't as scary as it could have been. There's certainly going to be some stuff.
Spider,
yeah, and unlike D&D, seeing mangled corpses and stuff may prompt those as well. Depending on your stuff. I feel really bad for Valkeen for that because they have the opposite bane.
It spooks easily.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, it was very funny. The juxtaposition of your characters is great. It's like one of them is likely going to go crazy. The other one is going to be the rock of the group mentally. And then none of these other assholes have anything that helps them mentally.
See, is why I always have backups.
Yep. No. I love the character. Honestly, I'm not gonna try to immediately kill the character.
I do too. Actually, I love Valkeen.
And actually, interesting. This game actually doesn't really say what kills you. It just goes to unconsciousness. But we can just explore that later if that's happening. But yeah, this is kind of a deadly campaign and stuff like that. So it's mostly deadly for anybody that's not a player character. So it's up to you to take care of all these people that you may or may not care about to a certain degrees. I can already tell that Ron's already on the chopping block, so it's great. I was thinking maybe, just maybe, he might be kept around, but nah, apparently being a bully makes you not likable. So,
I can't believe he went straight to where the sun don't shine.
That was funny.
Immediately.
That was funny.
That
I was
was
like,
great.
wow, you're gonna cook his nuts? Damn. That was great. That made me laugh. Man, my favorite. I do have a scene I want to do with Rond, but I'm still chewing my tongue on it. Because it's
Will he survive?
Oh yeah,
No.
he'll survive. It's just I'm just gauging. I'm glad it didn't get that far tonight because I have I have another week to prepare for that, and also I had another thing for Valkeen, but I forgot about it. So maybe I'll just message you. I'll just DM you that, and that's just a thing that happened, but it didn't come up in the session.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Because I do want to actually start that, so we're not waiting like a bunch of days, and we have to go through an entire day just to get that info, just to start that little curiosity plot line. I have some stuff in the background. There's already stuff in the background happening at this outpost, and it's up to you guys to kind of mystery solve that as you go. Because there are mysteries everywhere in this. There is little secrets happening at all times in this thing. And keep in mind, like, if you ever want to like insight, don't forget to check like sense motive for any of these guys at any given point. That's always important. But if I will sometimes, if I feel like your character should be prompted, I will let you know. I'll tell you just roll brains. Not that like it's gonna, unfortunately none of you are very insightful. The only person that has that is actually Shushar. So, I guess Shushar is a little helpful there. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you so much, Twitch.
Right.
We will continue
Thank
this
you.
next time, and have a good night. Oh,
Bye.
bye bye.
Bye.
Oh.